Here's what we're building today: a complete GoHighLevel agency from zero. By the end, it's got your brand on it, not HighLevels, and it's got 2 plans you can sell, $97 and $297 a month. If you run an agency, this is the one for you. Every step is chaptered so you can jump to the part that you need, and it's all live, meaning it was all pre-recorded. When something breaks, you'll watch me fix it. Wait until you see that we actually pull names and phone numbers from anonymous visitors that are coming to your website. This is going to be massive to everything that you need to build an AI agency from scratch. So this is going to be day one. So make sure you stay through to the whole entire video, or just skip to the parts that you need based on the timestamps. But if anything, this is going to be by far one of the best GoHighLevel videos you're going to watch, because it's going to show you how to create an absolute agency from scratch. So make sure you stay tuned and build along with us. All right, and welcome everybody. Hope everybody can hear me. We are rocking and rolling over here. I know we got a lot of people in the chats already, and we are ready to rock and roll. So if I lost everything, meaning I never had anything, like I never had a business, or I had to start over because I lost everything, what would really be the first thing that I would do? And I would definitely have to have a CRM to start, any process. But even if I didn't have to start a CRM, the most important thing that I would have to have is like an email, a way to collect payments, and then more importantly, a way to just have my customers schedule with me and communicate with them, right? So probably one of the most important things to do when we do things is you have to think of a business of like your new kind of career and what you're trying to do. And honestly, if I always had to start over, what I always say is all I really honestly need is a calendar and an email, and I can go out and start selling services, consulting, building sites, whatever it is that I need. And we can go through that and make that work. So today, what we're going to do is, again, from scratch, we are going to be building out an agency. I'm going to call it Nuno's Agency. It's not going to be rocket science, but where I'm going to start is literally from the beginning. I'm going to go get an email from Google. I'm going to get a domain. I'm going to set up my domain and all of that, and we're going to make that work for everybody here. So anybody that's out there using a Gmail or anything of that sort, then you already are ahead of the game, because a lot of people, believe it or not, there's still a point in time where I go and I come in, I get an email from a person who's trying to get my business, and it says like, John's dad, 1234. And it's really hard to take people seriously if you don't have one of those, right? So that all being said, we are going to go ahead and we are going to start with the first initial process. The first initial process when starting any business is to get an email, to get a calendar, and a drive. First thing I do is we're going to get a Google Workspace account. We're going to buy a domain. And I was saying everybody does get caught up on getting the domains. Now, honestly, I've been buying domains for years. There's only really 2 places I really go to buy domains nowadays. And one is Cloudflare and the other one is GoDaddy. Now, there's no real difference. Everybody goes in and, they freak out about how important this is. Buying a domain shouldn't be that hard. But I bought one on GoDaddy just to kind of make the process a little quicker. I log in, and this is how I immediately start, right? So let me just get in here. I go to my products, and I literally bought a domain called Nuno's Agency. Super easy. So let me go find that domain that I bought, and Nuno Agency. And then once you're inside the actual place where you buy a domain, you're going to have access to your DNS records. DNS records, honestly, is the way that we're going to be basically giving directions to Google, to GoHighLevel, or anything that we need to basically create the websites, the emails. All of that has to be done through something like this. And that's what we're going to be doing, right? And then you have GoDaddy, and I also use Cloudflare. Now, this is the other thing that people get really kind of torn up about. What is Cloudflare? Why do you use it? Why does everybody recommend it? And let me just go off screen to just kind of take this in. So Cloudflare is just a records management. All it really does is basically a place where you can put the records that you can actually go in, and it just manages your records for you. Now, some people are asking, what's a record? A record is basically instructions for the internet of where to find your site, where to get your email, and so forth and so on. Anytime you're going to create any kind of website, you need a domain. In order for your website to be seen by the internet, the website and the domain need to set the records or the DNS to point wherever your site is. Now, normally back in the day, these things were by numbers. It would be 1234.7389 dot something else. But then it got more sophisticated, and eventually words started coming into place. Now, a lot of people also get freaked out because they can't find their exact one that they're looking for. So notice I got Nuno Agency, right? Pretty simple. But if I want to look for another domain, you can come in here and everybody gets caught up on like trying to find the perfect domain. Don't worry about it when you first start out. Just get yourself out in the public so then people can get there. And if you're coming in here and buying any kind of domain, I think you buy it right up top here, and you search for any domain that you want, you can use .co. So if I went over here and I did Nuno's agency, right? We're going to try again. And I wanted to find a domain, it'll come up with, look here, .com is available, but you also have .net, .org, .ai. If you can't get the .com, get the .net and move on, because this is like, honestly, the least important thing you should be spending a lot of time on, because until you make a lot of money, your domains are not really that important. And everybody gets so caught up on some things like this. It's like this in logos. Honestly, I'll create whatever logo today just to keep it going so I can start selling. All right. So, but you have it here. Look, $4.99 for the first year. Then I think if you buy 5 years or so for, they charge you more. But you also could come in here and go to Cloudflare, and Cloudflare is pretty darn affordable. It's like $10 per domain, so you don't have to really break the bank. Now, I'm going to try to log into my Cloudflare, so let me just get my little auth key here, and then we are going to rock and roll. So buy it. The only ones I tend to avoid is, and just because it's harder to work with some of the CRMs and some of the other things is I don't buy Namecheap. Namecheap, a lot of people do like it. It's not bad. It's just not my preference. I don't necessarily buy in there. So I usually buy GoDaddy or Cloudflare. And honestly, if I was to do it all over again, I'd probably just use Cloudflare going in. All right. So I'm just going to go into my domains here. All right. And now we have our GoDaddy. We bought our domain, right? $10, whatever it is, or I can come in here and just buy a domain directly in Cloudflare. This is Cloudflare, guys, for anybody that needs it. And again, super easy. Doesn't really matter which one you use. Cloudflare, honestly, is really easy to use, and a lot of people do like it. As you can see, I got tons of domains on it. And what I like to do is the second I buy a domain inside of a different provider, GoDaddy, SiteGround, Namecheap, or whatever it is out there, I immediately move it over to Cloudflare just because that's where I have all my other ones. Plus, Cloudflare does have a lot of other abilities that other domains don't have. So bought the domain, wherever you bought it, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to GoDaddy. When I inside of GoDaddy, you're going to notice that I'm on DNS management. Then from there, we are going to go to our DNS records and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a new record. Now, adding a new record would normally be where you're going to start adding this stuff for your Google, for your GHL and all that. But before we do that, because I want to move things over to Cloudflare, what we're going to do is we're going to go to name servers and I'm going to change the name servers. Now, I'm just going to hit change name servers. I'll use my own name servers and then I'm going to set myself up in Cloudflare. For everybody wondering when we're going to get to GHL, we're doing this part first. For every business that's out there, you need to do this part first in order for you to get to the second part. So bought a domain, we're in GoDaddy. I'm now going to move the domain over to our Cloudflare account. I logged into Cloudflare. It is free. It does not cost you any money. And what I want to do is I want to add a domain. Now, real easy to do when you come in here, you can add a site. I'm going to hit connect a domain. And inside here, I'm going to grab the domain that I bought, which is just copying and pasting this right here. And I'm going to drop in and I'm going to hit continue. Now, when I hit continue, it's going to try to offer you paid plans and everything else. Honestly, don't need to do that. I just select the free plan. Free plan does quite a bit and everything you're going to need is going to be on the free plan. But it comes immediately with a set of like instructions that you have to read. First, it says, hey, I noticed that you're trying to move over this domain, but before you do, understand that you have records already existing. Now, these records really honestly don't mean much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit continue to activation. But for people that already have an existing domain, you don't need to take this step. It's just going to complicate things for you if you're not really familiar how to do any of this. So if you have a domain already, I'm going to show you how to use subdomains way later on in this kind of demonstration so you guys can see it. So I'm going to grab my name servers. And remember, I came in here in GoDaddy in my DNS management area. And now I'm going to click on name servers, change name servers. I'll use my own name servers. I'm going to paste. And then I'm going to copy again, and I'm going to paste. So all it's saying is that instead of the domain having the records in GoDaddy, I'm going to put all the records in Cloudflare for it being faster, a little bit more security. And I just find Cloudflare really easy to use. And you'll see why when we start adding all of this, right? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit save and I'm going to hit continue. Wonderful. Now I can actually put away GoDaddy because I no longer need GoDaddy to start building my things out. So I'm going to go ahead and just shut that down. And now that my two name servers are here, I'm going to go all the way down in Cloudflare and I'm just going to hit, I updated my name servers. All right. Now in here, we're going to go over to the left and we're going to go to DNS and we're going to go to records inside of Cloudflare and we're just going to stay here in Cloudflare. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to go to Google Workspace. Now, I'm not an affiliate of this. I honestly do believe this is one of the best programs out there. I use Google in everything that I do to run all my 5 businesses every single day. I use the email, I use the calendars, I use the Google, the video on Google Video that allows me to do it. I think it's Google Meet. And I use the Drive, which once you see my Drive, it's kind of crazy. I'm going to give you tips and tricks of how to maximize even Google Workspace. Again, wasn't really talked about in the ads or whatever else and however you got here. But what I'm going to do is show you the right way to do it and even show you how to create like about 30 email aliases that allow you to create other email addresses at no additional cost. And I'm going to show you a secret little trick where you can get the cheapest level of Google Workspace that honestly, Google, I think, purposely tries to hide. But if you scroll down right here, you notice that there's a starter package. If you click on the Get Starter package, it's only $7 a month. I think it's a little bit more if you pay monthly, but it's perfect for people that want to get a professional email address, a professional calendar, and a professional drive with, again, not having to pay like $14 extra a month. I know that sounds kind of silly. For some, it's like, who cares about 14 bucks? But look, $7, you get 30 gigabytes, you get a custom business email address, you get Gemini, which is like their AI, you get a little bit of assistance with it, and you get video meetings where you can have up to 100 people doing in this. Now, and a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, a lot of the business that I have is what you see here, going live, showing people how to do things. It's the best way to like get customers, in my opinion, because people see your expertise, right? They know that you know what you're talking about and they want to kind of dive into it. I pick the Get Started plan whenever I'm starting a new business because it's only $7 a month and it's going to give me all those 5 things at no additional cost. And again, totally not an affiliate. You can come in here, you can knock your socks off. And if you take the annual out, it's $8.40. So way super cheaper. You can get it in there and it's all up to you. Now, business name, we're just going to go ahead and type in Nuno's Agency. And what we're going to do first, guys, is we're setting up the email, the business email that we're later on going to need when we're doing our agency build out and our business build out inside of HighLevel. All right. And then I'm going to build some calendars in here. I'm also going to build some drives. So then I'm going to have like a customer drive, my personal drive, and kind of segregating all this. I'm literally giving you everything of what I would do if I had to start a business. So you guys can kind of eliminate all this in order to make it super easy for yourselves, right? So Nuno's Agency, again, we're just going to call it that throughout. This is going to be just me. I'm a solopreneur as it is right now. My current email address, so then it can get a hold of me. That's fine. We'll just use my last name, hit next. And now this is important. Everybody gets tripped up when they're setting up their Google Workspace. It says get a new custom domain or set up an existing domain. I am going to hit set up an existing domain because I literally just bought a domain on GoDaddy. So I don't want to buy it through Google Workspace or in a different place. So I click on this side, set up using your existing domain, continue with this method. Okay. And it's now asking me, okay, well, what's your domain? I'm going to go back to Cloudflare. And believe it or not, if you guys are handwriting this in between, let's say GoHighLevel, GoDaddy, or your Google Workspace, if you're setting up one for the first time, or you're doing it for your clients, spelling matters. I can't tell you how many times people struggle with this because they are like dying in the mix of all this because they misspelled or they're missing a letter. To cheat, I always go back in here and I copy whatever the domain is that I bought. Also, for a lot of you guys that know me personally, you know that I'm a dyslexic as crazy. So I will misspell things on a consistent basis and it sucks if you do it wrong. So we're not going to let that happen. We're just going to copy and paste. All right. We come in here. It says use this domain to set up the account. I'm going to say yes. Next. Great. Now, the first thing it's going to ask me, well, what's your username? This is another place where a lot of people get used up. Should I use admin? Should I use support? No, use your name because people are more likely to open up an email from nuno@nunosbusiness.com than something saying support or anything along that ways, right? So be very mindful of just being very smart about that because if you don't, what will happen is things will most likely not get open or things will go into spam. And who wants that, right? So my username is literally going to be nuno@nunosagency.com. And I'm going to show you a trick later on where you can add more email addresses for no cost. So make sure you guys are sticking around and watching that because that's going to be pretty big. And then here, I'm just going to go ahead and select the password. All right. Nobody can see it. So, and I'm not going to keep this account, but I want to make sure you guys are good. All right. Agree and continue. All right. We're going to save that password so that I can access it later on. And I'm now going to go into the process of creating records so then my email can be live. So great. Right here. Look, $8.40. For some of the people that are asking, like, why did I pay so much? Then it's going to be, honestly, you might have been like, a lot of people that know about it, you can always downgrade, but it depends on how many people you have on your team. Like, I'm at the max at my team, so they have the max plan. I can't really downgrade after that. So I'm going to do $8.40. I'm going to hit start trial. It might ask me for my personal info. I'll get that off screen in a second. Now, a lot of secrets are going to be spilled here, guys, because this is going to be important. Everybody always skips this part. If you do this part wrong, you're just going to make your life harder when it doesn't have to be. So I'm coming in here. I'm signing up, add users. Now, if you add another user, because remember, you already added yourself as a user early on, don't go ahead and use this. You're going to go ahead and hit skip for now. Now, the other reason why I love using Cloudflare is Google HighLevel will automatically detect Cloudflare has my domain provider, and it will go in, it will add the records all by itself without me having to do anything, which makes it a whole lot easier if I use something like Cloudflare or GoDaddy, because Google Workspace and GoHighLevel communicate with them directly. So what would normally be very complicated for some is going to be very easy, because all I got to do is get started, and it says, look, sign into Cloudflare. I'm already in Cloudflare. Awesome. It goes directly in there. It asks my permission to authorize. And remember those records, it's going to go in there. All right. Now coming in here, you verify new no agency, start using your Google domain, activate. All right. And then activate again and proceed with activation. That's literally all I have to do. And then now it's going to say, okay, well, I need to set up Google Workspace inside of here, and I got to set up my email. So now it's going to go ahead and do that. All right. And side that. All right. I think now all free spots are taken, guys. All right. Now, that being said, we have the MX records that we need to add. This is going to be the records that are basically needed in order for your email to work. Now, if you had this in, like, let's say Namecheap or SiteGround or any of the other ones, you're going to have to physically add these records. Because the fact that we're using Cloudflare, look how easy this is. All I got to do is sign into Cloudflare, and it's going to automatically add all the records it needs in order to start making my Google work. Now, I'll tell you though, it only adds the necessary records. It doesn't add all the ones you really need in order for email not to go into spam. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this thing get ready. And then what I'm going to do is I'm already going to start going in there. Actually, look, it went that quick. That's how crazy quick it went. All right, now that that's all here, what we're going to do is it says, okay, email's ready, go to import tool, all this other stuff. We don't have to worry about any of that. What we're going to do is we're actually going to hit get started. And I don't answer any of these things because they're super annoying. And all I'm doing is getting through everything, because what I want to do now is I want to get to the little secret area that nobody really talks about. Now, if I come over here and I go to Google Apps on the right-hand side, or my name, but you want to hit those 9 little dots, you're going to hit admin. Okay, when you hit the admin, this is a very, very important part. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about adding the 2 records that are immediately going to give you security, so then your emails don't end up in spam when you start using your email address. All right. So on the left-hand side, what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to the search right up top here. And the first record we're going to add, that's not really what Google was going to add on your behalf, is you're going to type in DKIM. Right? When you type in DKIM, DKIM is a security record that you need for your email in order for your email to always not end up in spam. Now, it's not always required, but honestly, it gives you the best chances of getting into the inbox, and that's why we're going to do it. So we're going to hit generate, and then in here, it has a whole bunch of records that we're going to add. Now, the first record we're going to add, this is going to be literally the first email record that we've added, because everything else has been automated to this point, is in order to add a record inside of your Cloudflare account, you're going to go over to add record. This is going to be a text record. So TXT, the root domain, you're going to copy this google._domain key, drop it in here, and then you're going to grab this big long wording right here. You're going to copy it, and then we're going to paste it. Okay. Right there. That's all you have to do. What a DKIM is a digital token that's only for you and you alone. And once you add this, you are going to have that digital token. So the reason why this is important is email providers like Yahoo, Comcast, Apple, Microsoft, Google itself like emails that have security records attached to them, because that means that it's a real email address, that it's secure, that you're taking extra effort And in order for your email to eventually get into the inbox, this is what the inbox providers like to see. So that's number one. Number two is installing something we call a DMARC record. A DMARC record is basically another security record that helps you get into the inbox. Now, one last thing before we kind of go off this pace. Now that I've installed the DKIM, remember it's here. It's one of the first records that I had to manually install. I'm going to go back to this DKIM screen. I'm going to hit start authentication and I'm done. Now, what I like to do, because Google's always changing, rules are always changing, I literally come in here at Google search and I type in Google DMARC record, okay? And if I click on the first link, it gives me an example of the DMARC record that I want in here. So what I'm going to do is just literally copy this, same copy in here. And then if you come in here to our Cloudflare, we want to go into Cloudflare. I'm going to add a new record, going to come in here, going to go to text message and then text message to TXT record. And then I'm going to type in underscore DMARC. All right. And then on the content, what I just copied from a Google search from Google itself, it gives me a record example of what I need to have for a DMARC record. So all I did was search Google DMARC, went into the Google area here and grabbed this in here. Now, when I grab this record, right, I'm going to paste it all for you guys. The reason this is so important is, believe it or not, most emails that are failing for you, your clients, or when you're starting to do mass email is because this wasn't set properly. Now, did a workshop with my really good friend, Matt Ratliff. He's an email expert. And we went over all this in a lot of detail, but this is like the very shortened version to get you the bare basics to ensure that your email right from the beginning has the best chances of getting into the inbox, especially when you're starting your business. The last thing you don't want is your email going to spam when you're trying to get new business, right? So a couple things we have to change here though. So it says DMARC number 1, P equals reject, and then it has RUA, mail to. This is the part that we have to change. So the only thing you really have to change here is what the mail to goes to. So for instance, you now have a new email. So the email could be, nuno@nunoagency.com. Okay. That's the first one I check. Then over here, it says DMARC Nuno's agency. So all I'm going to do here is I have one report is just, I'm going to change it to Nuno agency. So then it's my email address. .com. Okay. Now there's this fancy thing that says 100. We're actually going to change that to 10. And again, this is a little bit advanced, guys. But what I will tell you is that if you come in here, again, guys, this is super cheap. This is like, well, we charge a good premium just for this. For clients to ensure that they have the best thing. I'm trying to give you the best, amazing setup so you guys don't have to do this in between all of this. Now, inside all of this spot, you want to change that PCT equals 10. Later on, as your email start delivering, eventually that's going to go to 100. But for now, we're going to put it into 10. Again, I don't want to get into the specifics because this is not an email deliverability workshop. This is like getting your agency off the ground workshop here. So we're going to put that as a percentage as 10, and then you're going to go ahead and hit save. All right. Now I've added 2 records for my email, one being my DKIM, which is my digital token. The other one is my DMARC, which is basically the rules that I want to give that to the actual people. And you're going to notice that it already had another DMARC, which it decided to upload on its own, but it has quarantine. I'm going to actually delete that record. So if you see 2 DMARC records, you only need one for your core email address. So if there was already one lingering in here and it has quarantine on it, we want to delete it. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit delete. All right. And I'm just going to get rid of that record. All right. And if we go in here, you're going to see that I have the reject. I have my DKIM, my DMARC, and I have my SPF. These are ones that we're going to mess around with a little bit later on, but this is going to be something you guys definitely want, right? So 3 records that are super important for email deliverability. Write these down: DMARC, DKIM, and your SPF. And we have all 3. So we now have a good email address that we can send emails out of. But now let's get into the secret sauce. Well, what if I want to look a little bigger than I am, right? What if I want to have like a sales email? What if I want to have a support email, but I'm still a one-person shop? What do? Do I have to pay extra to get those email addresses? Now, guys, a lot of this right here is nobody knows this. But you can have up to 30 aliases. An alias is another email address that you can leverage to basically send emails out of or receive emails from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the left-hand side. There's this little dude right here, and it says directory. In directory, I'm going to go to users. Inside of users, you're going to see your name if you guys are doing this. And in here, you're going to hit your name. Inside your name, you're going to notice on the left-hand side, this little sneaky area right here that says add alternative emails. Guess how many emails I can add up in here? I can add up to 30 email addresses that I can have as my alias. So I always like to do support. I like to do team. I like to do sales and DMARC because eventually I want those reports signaled out. And now look, for no additional money, I now have 4 email addresses of that, right? So now I have that saved. I can't tell you how many people do not do this and they end up paying for each additional email address. You don't have to do that anymore, guys. Really simple. Hit that little dude on the right, go to add alternate emails, select as many as you want, up to 30. Obviously, you don't need that many, and you are ready to rock and roll. The other thing is, if you come out of here, I'm going to show you another trick. Now that we're set up in email, the next place I immediately go to, and I mean immediately go to, is my drive. I will now click on the 9 little dots. And by the way, for anybody that doesn't know, it's called the hamburger menu. It took me forever to understand that. You can click on the hamburger menu and look what you have access to. Calendars, slides, sheets, docs, and drive. I'm going to go ahead and select drive. And the reason I'm going to select drive, and nobody ever told me this, and I wish to God somebody told me this really early on, because it would organize me so much better than when I first started. So then I didn't think my crap was all over the place. Because when you first start out, you're going to need your business documents in one place, tax documents in another, clients in another, and so forth and so on. So the first thing after I set up my email that I do is I come in here and I set up my folder structure. Now, this is the way that I come in here. You come into your Google Drive, click on new, go to new folder, and always set up your folders first. So this is going to be business documents. This is like all your legal documents, like your CP 575, your LLCs, your tax stuff, do all that in here, right? Then I go to new folder again, and this time it's going to be, logos and images for the business. Then we're going to come in and we're going to do new. We're going to do clients because I want all my client folders in one place so that I can find it later on, especially as you start getting staff. All right. Then I also like to do SOPs because as I get good at things, I like to write things down. All right. And then come in here, hit new, and then you have your business documents, your clients, logos and images, SOPs, and you guys come up with someone. What do you guys think that you want to make sure you do in here? Because it's however you feel like you need to organize yourself. But I'm telling you, folders and setting up your Google Drive being one of the first things you do, trust me, it will pay itself like tenfold afterwards. And then in here, I'll maybe put like another one where it'll be images in general, or, like client files we already did. I'll do just taxes because tax things always scare me. So I always try to keep those separate. Now, what's really cool about this, guys, is you can number them so they can always be in an order. So if you come in here and put like a 0, 1 in front of them, you hit OK. And no joke, you could come over here and you could change the colors. So if you're a type of person that likes to do all this stuff and organize and be super colorful and whatever else, honestly, very important. A lot of things like nobody shows you. Like I wish to God somebody showed me this when I started a business, because organizing this thing 3 months later when you're a disaster and you're like, you're really rocking and rolling, you got some momentum going, it is not fun, man. I'll show you guys my drive now and I can tell you, well, it's pretty organized. I can't even say it's not. And later on, you can even use AI to organize. All right, so I'm just going to number all these so you guys have it. And then we're going to go into the client folder and I'm going to show you how I organize that because that's going to be pretty important. All right, so I'm going to go to my client folder. Notice it's always number 2. And in here, I'll do new folder and I'll say whatever the client is, it's my first client. I'll do client name, and anything that the client does, I drop in there, and I do color coordinate these because it makes things a little bit easier and organized to kind of see everything. And then my first client will go under client name and it goes from there. Super, super easy, guys, as you guys go through. But again, I know this might be corny. Like, why are we doing folders? Trust me, because look, when you guys get big, you don't know what things are. It's half of your battles trying to figure out where everything is. So that's number 1. I did that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go also set up Gmail. And there's a couple secret little tricks here in Gmail that I want to make sure you guys fully understand. Now, Gmail is pretty powerful. Everybody kind of doesn't understand how powerful it is, but the amount of things you can do in here is pretty important. Now, I like to set up on my email a certain way. I'll go into my Gmail. Now, inside of here, the way you kind of want to view your box is pretty important. I'm a guy where I like to read the emails, but I like to see what's going on the right-hand side. So you can come in here and literally select how this all, looks. This is the way I like mine. And you have a lot of things on the left and a lot of things on the right. Now, calendar is always something that's up on mine because I always like to see my appointments of what I have going in the day. Tasks, notes, it's all here. Just make sure you understand it. But the most important thing you got to do is you come in here to this little cogwheel, hit see all settings. In see all settings, there's a couple things I like to do in here. Remember those email address aliases that we did? I bet you guys didn't know about this, but if you come in here and you hit accounts, and now I want to add all those, I can add them in here because then I can send an email directly from the account that I literally just created. So a lot of people don't know this. So if I come in here and I want to add an email address, remember sales or support, I can add support at nunoagency.com. Next step, send verification. Boom. Now, when I go to write an email, compose, look at this. Ready? Could close that window. And I could switch between the different signatures and everything else. When I go to send an email to whatever, I can select what email I'm sending it from, which is pretty cool. All right. And I can always verify. And I can add as many of these as I want. So I have support. I can do team. All right. nunoagency.com. Hit next step. Look at this. And then I can always reply for a main one. So I can pick which one I want to be my personal email address. Now, again, a lot of you guys is like, why do you need this? You will honestly, like, if you do this, the amount of money you save later on is absolutely amazing. And there's forwarding rules and things you can do. Now, the next thing that I want to do is there is one funny little thing in here that honestly, it's a lifesaver for anybody that has a very disorganized box. You can select nudges. So if there's open emails that you know you got to respond to, but you forget, this thing will actually physically nudge you. But the signature, boom, right in here. Name the signature. This is going to be Nuno. All right. And you can start building out your actual signature in here. So for now, keep it super simple, guys. Just Nuno's agency and always have an email. So nuno@agency.com. And look at that. You now are officially professional. You have a drive, you have an email. Now people can start taking you a little seriously, right? And you can have as many signatures as you want and going through this. So multiple email delivery, you have all this. And if you guys want to get fancy later on, like I do, you come in here and you can create different inboxes. So if you want to store things inside your inbox, you can go ahead and you can create different categories. You can also create different inboxes. So if you click on your inbox, I'll show you this real quick. Back, click on inbox. Oh, got to confirm the changes. We're save changes. Sweet. All in here, ready to rock and roll. And it's actually confirmed the other one. So I hit this and now I confirm my support email. And now I can send and receive from my support email. How awesome is that? And I'm going to tell you why that support comes in very handy later on, because you're going to have like this full team and it's literally going to be you, but you're going to have a lot of AI helping you out later on. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Cool. So in here, I believe you can add as many labels as you want. And labels are like folders. So you could do clients on the labels. Okay. That's one. I'm going to do another one. That's going to be taxes. The same labels I use for folders is the same labels I'm going to use for different things like inside of here to organize my inbox, right? And then it's going to be like, we have support, taxes, clients, and I'm just going to have sales. So any emails coming forward that I want to do, we can go through that and we can make all that in there. Now, all of this is just giving you guys, again, a really big head start. Again, this was all about how I would create an AI agency from scratch. This is it. I got my Google email address. I got my calendar ready to go. And by the way, if you don't know how to get your calendar, 9 little dots, boom, your calendar. And in here, you can do a bunch of other fancy stuff. Again, I don't want to get too much into this, but one of the best advices that it does give you is like download Google Calendar on your phone. I live and die by my Google Calendar, folks. So immediately go in there and just go and set that in. Now, you can put in holidays and all that other crap. Again, won't go too thoroughly in this. All I need is an active calendar. But the other big thing that I want to kind of give you guys a little cheat on, notice I have these 3 little icons or these 4 little icons on the left-hand side. I'll teach you a trick. When it comes to booking a bookmark, let's say on this calendar, I'll click on the bookmark and I'll get rid of the name and I'll put it in the main bar, in the main bookmark bar. If you give it no name, it'll keep the icon. So now you have your Google icon for a calendar, your drive, and your mail. And like that, there are these little tiny icons that live all the way to your left-hand side. And those happen to be the icons that I use the most. So it's just something for you, a little cheat sheet. So as we're using all of these, we can go back in and we can do this at any given time. All right. So quick little intro. We got our domain. We got our email. We got our drive. We got our calendar. There's other things inside here like sheets, calendars, Google Meets, all that. Not going to really need a lot of that for this particular call as we move into the GoHighLevel setup for the agency and then the sub accounts. But this is the preferred setup that I would do instantaneously the second I would start. I wouldn't even start anywhere else until this, because if I have this down, then the rest is going to be fairly easy. But then this is how I start organizing myself. Because even if I can't afford a GoHighLevel account, I can email people and I can make calendar appointments. So I have a working thing and I can store people's files. All I got to do is get some kind of way to collect money, whether through Stripe or even through my regular bank, and I'm in business. I now can conduct business. I can call people, consult them, do whatever I need. I don't need everything else to go. I need this to go and to have the best start. And again, Google Drive, organize it. Inbox, labels, organize it. Over here, organize it. Like, get everything organized so we have the best start. Now, let's get into HighLevel. We are set. I'm going to leave these up because we're going to need all of these, especially the email. So we're going to go back to our Gmail. We're going to leave that up. So now, before I go into HighLevel, the three things I have up are my Drive, my Gmail, and my Cloudflare, because this is what I'm going to need in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go HighLevel. For anybody that doesn't have a HighLevel account and you want to get a HighLevel account, this is definitely the time to get it, because we're going to start getting into all that. So for anybody that doesn't have it, our affiliate software right here, you can read all about it. I'll go over and cover some of the things on there, but this is what we're going to have. Now let's get into fun stuff. So I am going to go and buy an account. Now, the whole thing about the accounts and which one should I get and everything else. If you don't have 497, don't get the 497 account. If you are an agency owner and you already have clients, get the 297 and build up to 497 if you want. If you're a brand new person and you're just doing this for yourself, just use the $97 plan and it works just as well. So whatever you want to do. If I was, again, starting from scratch and I'm a brand new agency, I've never had anything before, I would probably start at the $97 plan and work my way up, because with the $97 plan, you get 2 free accounts. And what I would do is I would take 1 account for myself, and the 2 extra that I get, I would sell to clients and just invoice them to get that. So then I make my money back. Or I would sell them HighLevel accounts and start collecting affiliate commission. And after basically 2 accounts, I've paid for my affiliate. So it's that simple. So either way, you can go through there. So either way works, right? Now, the 297 plan allows you for unlimited accounts, but it doesn't give you the automation of creating the accounts automatically. Now, the reason why that's a little bit of a hindrance is that back in the day, this is all we had. I mean, 6 years ago when we first started HighLevel, we were all kind of on the $497, $297 plan, and we had to create our own accounts. Got to be honest, I'm a little spoiled. The $497 gives me 30-day free trial. With that 30 days, I will maximize that, and I will try to get at least 3 or 4 paying clients that are giving me a monthly retainer even at the 97 to help pay for that. Because if I get the $497 plan, it comes with the automation of creating the account and adding a snapshot. Now, that doesn't seem like it's a big deal now, but later on, when you get big, or even as you're growing, creating a sub account and adding a snapshot to it, it becomes a pain in the ass. But again, you don't need to start there. Everybody goes, oh, you need to get a 497. I'm not going to sell you on any of this. You get whatever you're comfortable with. If you're just starting out, brand new, don't have any customers, start at 97, get really familiar with the system. You get 3 accounts with the $97 plan, and 2 of the accounts, you're going to use one for you, and the other 2, you just sell. $297, if you already have established clients and you know that they're going to move over, like you got 10 or 15 clients waiting for you that you know are going to buy from you, then get the $297, because then you can have unlimited sub accounts. And that's if you're going to go over that. And if you're a baller, you got some money, you're an existing agency, or you're really going to give this a go, you get a 30-day free trial, both with the $297 and the $497. If you get that, the $497 works. $497, I just love it because you get the full API access. For anybody that's into AI, having full API is amazing. The automatic account creation and the SaaS Configurator is a massive lifesaver when you have multiple clients, because it automatically installs the templates and everything else automatically for you. So any of these is a good bet. But again, I would just select one and go. I'm going to go ahead and go with the $497 because there are people in here that have agencies. So I'm going to start the agency plan. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit start the free trial today. It's going to ask for my information. I'm going to take this off screen. All right. I'm going to go for the SaaS Pro plan because I have an agency. I have a set of clients and I want to automatically create snapshots and do all that. All right. Just give me a second. It's logging in and then we're going to start building out. All right, now I'm just going to create a massive passcode here. Like, honestly, my hope for you guys all today is for anybody that's like struggling in the dumps, like you guys just can't make it work. Like you're running out of money and you're like, how do I get my clients? I have guests coming in talking about different sales strategies, different tools you can use, free trials that are coming our way, man. Like I got all kinds of things for you guys. I just want to make sure that you guys get the right idea that this can be done, that anybody can do it. Everybody that's working corporate jobs, you guys are sick and tired of your corporate jobs and you want to break away. I broke away. I am here because I literally broke away from what I was doing for my 9 to 5. And I want to make sure you guys have the same options because life is a lot happier ever since it did. All right. So I'm just in the starting screens now. HighLevel will ask you like, I bought, I paid, I'm coming in here. I bought and I paid and I did all of that. So I'm coming in here and I'm just going to select different things. How many customers? We're going to say 49. Continue. Search tools that we're already using. We'll just say that I'm using WordPress. I'm going to hit set up my account. Now, HighLevel does offer you onboarding. By all means, take it. It's free with the account and it gets you up and going. And now if you follow my steps and you have your domain, your email, it'll make the onboarding way smoother. So it makes it super easy. So if it comes over here, I'm going to go, not now, take me to my account because I want to build this out. Now, here is the nitty gritty. I am going to give you guys all my secret sauce. I hope this is going to be incredibly helpful. So first thing I do is when I come into an agency, now you are in your agency and your account that you just created is your sub account. Agency is where you're going to do agency things. I don't know how else to describe it. It's where you're basically going to help set up people's account, configure your high-level agency, which is like your main entrance area, but it is not going to be where you conduct your business. Your business, meaning taking payments from customers and, setting up your calendars, your funnels, your automations, that is all going to be done in your sub account. Right now, you are in your agency. If you go over to the left-hand side, your agency, you'll know you're in it because it literally will say agency dashboard and you'll notice where it says, click here to switch. You're not in any sub account. That's how you know you're in your agency side of the business. It's very important for you all to know that. Even if you get the $97 plan, remember, you're going to get 3 accounts. And if you want to access those other accounts, you have to understand this whole agency in order to figure out how to create another account for you to leverage and use. All right. So very, very important for you guys to understand the difference. When you first get into your HighLevel, for the first time ever, you are going to be on the agency side. We have to set a couple things up, and I'm going to show you a lot of tips and tricks on how to do this the best possible way. Because once you figure this out, you're in the agency side. What you're going to do next is you're going to set up your sub account. But we are going to do a couple settings in here that's going to kind of help you guys think a little bit differently about it and kind of what I go through. And this is literally what I do when we get agents that want to basically, build their own white label and they want some help, right? Because they don't want to do all this stuff. This is literally what I'm showing you is what I do for my clients and what I've done for me for the last 6 years. So be very mindful about how we do this, right? Now, if I come in here, I go over to the left-hand side and I'm going to go to settings first. Inside of settings, change this up a little bit. The first thing you want to do is your personal information. That's going to be across everything. You want to make sure you're using your new account, right? Nuno at nunoagency.com. Okay. The phone number is going to be whatever your personal phone number is. All right. I'm just going to put a 1-800 there for now. And then you're going to hit save. Now, because I've changed my email address and I'm at the agency level, the second I hit update profile, we're set up authenticator app. Okay. Well, that's new. We're going to set up 2-factor authentication. I now have 2-factor set up. I have my phone number. I have 2-factor set up. I'm ready to rock and roll. And again, it's something you want to do. Think of security all the time. Now that I set this up, I'm going to go to my company. All right. And I'm going to set this all up. Company's name is Nuno Agency. Company email is nuno at nunoagency.com. Phone number, we're just going to leave at 1-800-555-1212. And this is eventually going to be Nuno Agency is going to be my website. My business category is going to be marketing agency. My business niche, honestly, when I first start out, I never have one. It's literally who does everything. I'm just going to put advertising agency for now. Primary use to operate my own business. All right, we got some addresses in there. And then features, AI employee, workflow, domain purchases, all this is pretty good. So we're good here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to team. Now, if you are a team of 1, you don't have to necessarily work about this. But if you are a team of many, this is where you're going to add your first team. So you're going to hit add. I would add like Mary. And then we'll just say, I can't spell Mary's last name. She's going to get mad. So I'm going to put Mary last name. All right. And then she has an address, Mary at Nuno's agency. And, we're not going to put a phone number for her. Put .com, hit next. roles and permissions, she's going to be an agency admin, which means she's going to have access to everything. If I want to limit which account she has, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do account, and I would just put her into the account. I only have one now, which is Nuno Agency, and she can only operate in my agency, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. All right, so that's how you have all of this in here, right? So I have this all set. Billing is done. We don't need to worry about billing. Phone integration, we're not going to worry about phone integration, because phone integration just means, are you going to be using the same LC numbers? Now, honestly, anybody coming in, you always want to use LC phone. Some people might tell you otherwise. I don't believe in that. Just come into LC phone. Next is email services. This one is important. Now, when you're inside your agency, when you start doing agency C, things like sending people their password, their logins, all this other stuff, it's going to send from an agency email. It's important that you set up a no reply agency email that people will use, or that you're going to use for your agency when it needs to send out agency information. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do our first setup when it comes to setting up our domain to send out email. Now, this is important. Remember, there's two levels, right? There is the agency level, and then there is the level at the sub account. I need to set up email at the agency level, because when people come into my sub accounts, when I give people sub accounts, they need to set up their own. But if I need to send out anything from the agency, I need to have an active domain to send out of. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit create dedicated domain. And for this one, I like to put no reply dot nunoagency.com. Now, I'm going to tell you what I just did. You guys see this before the dot? That's called a subdomain. A subdomain allows you to install a domain and not use your main agency domain. So what that means is, if I'm going to use later on my domain inside of, let's say, a website, or inside a particular, like funnel or whatever else, I can't use this for my mail, because it's not going to allow me to do that. Or what if I already have my agency somewhere else? What if I already have a WordPress site? If I try to use my main domain, I will take that whole entire website down. If I try to use this domain for email, remember those MX records that are all added by Google right here, these MX records that it added? If I try to use my main domain in here, it will kill all those records, and this won't work, and neither will my email that I just bought. So you guys want to make sure that you get that understanding. What we're doing here is creating a server that will allow me to send emails from HighLevel agency side to any of my clients that are under my white label. All right. So what I'm going to do here is put no reply dot, and then here's nunoagency.com, and I'm going to hit add and verify. Again, the best thing about having Cloudflare is the second it sees that I have Cloudflare, watch what happens. It's going to immediately add my records on my behalf without me having to do anything. All right. So see, it's authorizing Cloudflare. I hit authorize domain, and it automatically adds every record I'm going to need for my agency to send out emails. Now, the only thing that we have to do here is, if you come in here, you can refresh. All right. It does take a few minutes to get Cloudflare to put all those records in, and we'll see if they're all in here now. Yep. All of them have been added. You see everything that says no reply? Those are the new records we literally just added from HighLevel. And we didn't do it, right? HighLevel did. But the only thing we need to make sure we do is we need to make sure that we have all greens here, just like this, in order for me to ensure that my email is able to go out. So now I can hit verify domain. And then in this verify domain, I'm going to actually put inside of here, click the three little dots, hit set headers. And in here, you're going to put the name of your CRM. So you're going to put, well, I know it's kind of corny, but this one is going to be Nuno Agency CRM. And the reason why I want to label it CRM is because I want to make sure that they understand it's coming out of the CRM and not my agency. All right. And then in here, I put something like CRM at no reply dot nunoagency.com. Wait a second though. I don't think I got a CRM there, and it's not a real email address. So what does that mean? I got to go create an email address. So if I go back to my Google Workspace, right? So Google Workspace, hit enter, go to my Google Workspace account, switch my business, go to Nuno Agency. I don't know why it's doing this. Come in here, admin console. I got to add another alias. So for anybody that didn't watch that, go back and watch it. I'm going to go to directory. I'm going to go over to users. I have a certain amount of aliases. So directory settings. Oops, sorry about that. Not directory settings. Let's go back to users. Click on myself. Click on the left-hand side. I want to add another alias. Right now I have support team sales DMARC. I'm going to add CRM. I'm going to hit save. So now when I put Let me get rid of all this. I could put CRM and it'll actually go to a place somebody tries to respond back. So now look at that. CRM at no reply. Beautiful. Now anybody coming in or any emails I have coming out of the emails of the CRM will now have this particular URL. But again, not to confuse, we're setting up agency. This is not going to be your sub account. Your sub account is going to have a different set of rules that we're going to be doing when we get to the sub account. Then I'm going to go to system emails. For anybody that's going to be doing their own white label or an agency and you're putting people in, you can change this email or see the preview email that they're all get. Now see, because it doesn't have a logo, that's what it's going to look like. You can also change a template by different design templates. A little more confusing on how to get a custom template, but we'll go over that in a little bit. But you build it in the sub account and then you can have the template come over here. So if I'm missing a particular domain, hold on, let's just go to company. I can add a logo here. Now, honestly, because I'm literally doing this live for you guys, I don't have a logo. So let's go to ChatGPT and let's have it create a logo. Or you can go to Canva, whatever your favorite is. It doesn't matter. It's just anything that can generate an image is perfectly fine. So if I come in here is create an agency logo for Nuno Agency. That's literally the name of it. All right. I'm going to come over here, let it create an image. That looks pretty good. Look at this, guys. Not bad, right? I like it. We'll see if it'll take it. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. Download. And if I want to modify it, I'll go to Canva. I'll come in here and then just modify it. We'll just leave this up here because we're probably going to have some design stuff coming up later on. All right. Let's see if it'll take it first, though. So I'm going to upload the logo. Awesome. Look, it took it really nice. That actually looks pretty good. Now you got all this in here. This is where this is important. Now, if I wanted to log in into the white label, into my agency, you see how it says app.GoHighLevel.com? If I want to change that to my domain, I could totally do that. So what I can do here is in this company area, not in basic details, but in the white label, I can come in here and I'm going to put in my own white label. So I'm going to put app.nunoagency.com. And I'm going to go all the way to the right-hand side. I'm going to hit the plus sign and just hit continue. And look what's going to happen. I now can log in to my white label version of HighLevel by literally logging into app.nunoagency.com. How cool is that? So you can immediately like have this personalized to you just by doing this particular step. Now, the API domain is for later on when you start doing APIs. I end up doing it really off like right away. So you can hit authorize. And the second I hit authorize and it validates it, I now literally legitimately can log into app.nunoagency.com and now it's my white label. And if you guys notice on the left-hand side, every single account now coming in will go and we'll see my logo on the top left. Pretty darn cool, right? This is where white labeling comes in. White label just means that you're taking somebody's software and making it your own. And that's what I'm doing here. Now, if I want to have my API domain and I want to have it already here, all I get to do is API, and you can use whatever you want. You can use API, you can use app, you can use Go, you can use more. It doesn't matter, but these are like kind of the standard ones that people do in here. I'm going to go ahead and go API, nunoagency.com. And like before, hit continue and let, again, Cloudflare do its thing. And we're ready to rock and roll in here. And you see how this is kind of building upon, one thing is building upon the other is building upon the other. Because the more we do this, this is how we get all through them. So hit authorize, good to go. Okay, I'm going to give that a second. Now you see this right here. I like to enable Google login. I think people just really honestly like it, and it makes it easier for people to have Google accounts. So the setup for domains, this is the way I have it. This will allow anybody that's logging into your white label to be able to do it from a Google login. Now, privacy policy and terms. I can tell you right from the beginning, you will at some point very soon need to have a privacy policy and a terms and condition if you are, one, planning on not getting sued, and two, if you are planning on getting text messaging, because text messaging requires that you have a privacy policy and a terms and conditions. And again, I'm not affiliated, guys. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm not the guy that created this nonsense. But if you need privacy policies or, terms of use, you can look up privacy policy examples. And I use a service. I use Termly, or you can use, there's so many of them. There's Termly, there's Armageddon, I think it's called Termageddon. There's a couple of them. So if you come in here and just privacy policy, grab one and just try to do it. Now, I could tell you though, a lot of people try to cheat this though, and they try to copy somebody else's. Do not do that. There's a couple free ones like Rocket Lawyer. I'll get it from there. Go to Shopify, go to Cookiebot. Like there's a lot of them that have it, but just whatever you do, just don't, don't copy one from somebody. There's wording and matters in there that you need. So privacy policy, terms of use for now, honestly, we're just going to do privacy policy and I'm going to just save it somewhere. let's just kind of get it out of the way. Well, actually, you know what? I'll do the Termly one, but it's going to ask for a whole bunch of like my whole life. And I'm just going to say website, next, example site. You need a site first. But like I said, at some point in time, you need to get a privacy policy and a terms of use and come back and put this in here. So don't forget about this. We're going to put a pin on it now because I don't want to waste too much time of yours in order to do that so we can get to the real stuff. But just understand that these are vital. Every business that has a website online needs a privacy policy and needs the terms and conditions. If you do not have that, later on, this does catch up to you. So just make sure in your travels that you put it on your to-do list that you have to get one. All right, so we have our own fancy dandy white label domain now. Advanced settings, enhanced account security, always on, absolutely. Set some time out as of never because people get really annoyed if they pop out. Product guides, daily updates, lab features, early access to major features across all accounts. Honestly, I love doing that because some of the features that come out of labs are amazing. Daily updates and product guides and all that I leave off. And include sample data in new sub accounts. This is pretty cool if you're demoing to somebody because what you can do is you can come in and it will already show data. So if you guys are doing demos for people, have dummy data in there. It looks a little bit better than having nothing in there. So you can leave this feature on, but if you feel it's starting to confuse people, you can turn it off. And remember, this is all in company settings, so you can do that. Single sign-on, this is going to be for your Google Enable SSO. A lot of risk with SSO. If you don't know what you're doing, I would save this until last. No need for that right now. You should be good for now. So you can leave this alone. So white label setup, advanced settings, all good. Basic details all in there with the information you need. You gave your team members access, whoever needs a team member at the agency or the account level. Your phone integration, you're pretty much going to leave alone because you're going to use LC Mail. And then email services, we just created our own server and every location now going on. You'll see what we do when we get in there, but each person will have to do its own. And then you just have different tools available to you like Postmaster. And guys, everybody complicates Postmaster. This is so easy. All you got to do is hit connect to Postmaster, find your account, hit continue, and that's it. You're done. And all this does is come in here and basically monitors your what you're doing in your email and your email reputation. So if I now go to Google Postmaster, right, and I log in with my Nuno agency account, right, I'll type in Google Postmaster. Okay, boom, get started. Switch the agency to the Nuno agency one. Yep. Enter the domain. The domain is going to be nunoagency.com. Click on next. Done. Awesome. I add in whatever subdomains that I'm sending email out of. No reply. .nunoagency.com. Click next. Done. And now what this allows you to do though, if you wanted to see how your email reputation is doing, you can come in here. There's domain reputation. There's email reputation. There's all kinds of that. And then you just have it readily available. So if you're ever like, why is my email going to spam? Come to Google Postmaster and see how your reputation's doing. And that's usually a really good indicator. All right. And advanced settings, email verification, we leave off. And email service was restricted to sub accounts. Yeah, perfect. All right. System emails, we talked about it. Now look at this. Now, because I added the logo, maybe we got a better looking email. Look at that. Isn't that nicer? Pretty cool, right? It gives the person the user's first name, all that, reset, verification code, all of this. And then look, here's my legit logo. Not bad, right? Maybe I change the button colors if I want later on. Announcements, these are announcements that are coming in, what's working, what's not, and what announcements you want going out to the client, when things depreciate. This is all the messaging that your client's going to get, including you. So if all of you are having trouble and you're getting way too many things from HighLevel or whatever else, your announcements is where a lot of this stuff comes from. So you could turn things on and off directly in here. Workflows, premium features. This is for people that want to use things and connect things like, Notion or Google or a couple of other connectors. Premium features allows them to do this, but it does charge them. And we're going to go into charging in a little bit for you guys to understand. AI employee, hands down, there's even a promotion going on right now. Actually, you know what? Let me just see something real quick. I can tell you that the AI promo is going to start June 1st to August 31. And I believe it's during the 3-month window, eligible users, 50% off first 3 months of all the plans on top of it. So it's a big feature that's coming up on June 1st with a big sale on that. So pretty cool. So yes, AI employee, we want that on. Ask AI configuration. This is, again, we're not going to get into that just yet. Workflows, all this stuff is good. Private integration is not getting into that. Stripe. A lot of people get very confused about Stripe. Now, when you connect a Stripe account, again, this is to connect your agency plans to your Stripe account. The reason why this is important is when you guys start building your own plans out, you're going to want to use a SaaS configurator, and that will automatically connect to your Stripe so you could see how many subscriptions and everything else you have in here when you log into your dashboards. And to connect Stripe is really easy. You just hit connect button. Stripe will open up. It'll ask you to log in. If you don't have an account, it's going to ask you to build one, and you just build one and work from there, right? So this is the one that you're going to have that you're going to want to do, and it's going to be based on that. I'm obviously not going to connect Stripe because I'm not going to correct this real business, but this is what you would do. You got to make sure you do that right away, because if you're going to be selling white label accounts, you're definitely going to want to make sure you're getting the payments in here, and that later on, this is connected to your other part of the accounts, like your snapshots and everything else. And it will automatically, when you create the accounts, it will automatically charge people for like their usage on email and text messaging and all that, which does become incredibly important. Your API keys are all going to be stored in API keys. Compliance is also here for anybody that wants HIPAA or GDPR. Well, your $97 plan will look the same way. And also this will be, if you're not using your $97 plan, your $297 and your $497 all look the same way. So whoever asked that question, it all looks the same, except $497 is going to have the SaaS Configurator and $297 and $97 are not. In here, one of my favorite places to always go is Labs. Now, I can tell you, I mess around a lot in Labs, but this is where all the new features that HighLevel has, if you want to just try out, is awesome. So if you come in here, a couple things that I want to make sure you turn on is one, Ask AI Voice. You're going to love how this works. SaaS and reselling. This is for global tax for anybody overseas. This is important for you. Template place, marketplace, snapshot import activity summary. That's really good. Custom objects, I'm not going to worry about. Ask AI, heck yeah. Workflow AI builder, yes. And then snapshot load to existing sub accounts. Why not? Now, anything in the sub account area, you want to activate voice AI performing reporting. So I'm going to go ahead and enable that. I only have one account now, but I can enable it for all sub accounts. All right. Bulk delete, voice AI, clone voice. This is pretty cool. You can clone your own voice. We're going to be getting into bot building. So you guys are going to want that. Conversation, quickly find. Yeah, we can turn this all. Honestly, all these are pretty badass to use. So we're just going to turn a lot of these lab functions on. And I've been using some of these. So funnels and courses, we're not going to really need that one. Social planner, anything that has a sync, absolutely. That's for social media. And if you're just starting out, social media is going to be pretty badass. AI Studio, absolutely. You guys are going to see the cool advanced way to build websites. Prompt optimizer, not really worried about that because we're going to make our own prompts. Ask AI, activate for everybody. And all I'm doing is activating for anybody logging in. We're just activating a bunch of features in Labs because I think they're pretty awesome. Video testimonials, absolutely. One of the best things you can collect really early on. Email AI, brand new funnel design, absolutely. Turn that on. There's so many cool things that they're doing. It's insane. Outbound calling without buying a phone number. Yeah, that's already live. Cool. All right. So we have quite a bit in here that we activated. Then we have our audit logs for anytime you make a mistake or your team makes a mistake, you'll be able to do it here or your customers. And media storage usage, like storage anywhere you have the accounts. But later on, I'll even show you how to connect your Google Drive and all of that. Hey, we want to interrupt this video for a quick little minute to just let you know that I hope you're enjoying this video. We want to thank you for being here. But more importantly, we are hoping that this content helps you do whatever you're trying to do inside of HighLevel. We also want to let you know that you have options to get additional help. We offer a $197 a month VIP coaching program that includes 4 days of office hours, first come, first serve, where we go in and we answer any of your questions that you might have live with a group setting for other people that are also working in HighLevel. We also have a VIP group where we answer questions directly one-on-one with anybody posting in that group to give you the absolute best support. It also comes with a bunch of other features, including our funnel brick system, our little mini course, and more importantly, a couple guides that'll help you through this, and also including our SOP library that we use for pretty much everything inside of our agency. So thank you for this quick little minute, but more importantly, go back to the video, get whatever you need, and if you have any questions that we can answer inside the video, just drop a comment on the video and we'll make sure to answer whenever we get a chance. And now back to the show. All right, so now I believe I have everything that I need. Now, what I want to do is for anybody on the $497 plan, this is what I strongly recommend. On the SaaS Configurator, I like creating my different plans. I do have to connect Stripe, so I might have to do that offline here real quick. All right, so I'm going to move this back over. Okay, connected my Stripe. Cool. Select the currency. For me, it's going to be US. Save. Configure SaaS plan. Absolutely. I will do it myself. So the first plan name is we're going to call it the basic, make it super easy, basic CRM plan. We can always put a little description later on. And honestly, I'm going to put the lead here because I will eventually delete these plans because this will show up on my Stripe. Yeah. All right. Basic CRM plan. This is only going to be for the $497 plan. So if you guys are kind of tuning in and you're in CRM, you can kind of skip this part a little bit. All right. I'm going to actually make my basic plan $97. And then if they buy the year, they get 2 months free. So I'll charge them for 10. and then this will be 97. User limit, I don't put anything on there. Contact limit, I don't put on. This is going to be, again, for the people that are going to be buying your sub accounts. Then I hit next, features and snapshots. I turn everything on. And you can create as many plans, do different variations of this. I just find it less confusing if everything is on. All right, that's everything. Now, adding a snapshot, we're going to do this a little bit later on, and adding custom menu links. Let me explain to you what this is. For anybody that's kind of new to HighLevel, all a snapshot is a very, very good template that has funnels, automations, and different kinds of things inside of there that are already pre-built. What's great about HighLevel is you could create a snapshot of like your instances and then share with all your people inside your sub accounts. The reason why that's so cool is, imagine if you're just serving a certain type of niche, make believe it's, HVAC guys, or make believe it's like auto detailing, or make believe it's pizzerias. You can create a template that you build for one, and then during this process of them getting their own CRM account under your white label, you can literally give them that same snapshot to every single client and then just go in and set it up for them, or teach them how to set it up themselves. That's number one. So that snapshot happens to be one of the most important and coolest features that HighLevel has that I believe other CRMs don't even come close to. That's number one. The other custom menu link is pretty cool. Think of it like this. Make believe you're in a certain business and you offer other software, you offer other services, like you're an agency, maybe you do ads, maybe you do website design and everything else. And you want to have the people the ability to buy your services right inside of the same menu that they look at when they go into the CRM. You can add custom links to just your CRM for this particular CRM plan that we're building right now, that only those people that bought the plan have access to that. Now, in running my agency, like when we were doing dentists and we did dentists for a good stint for like 3 years. We had a special menu item that they can buy discounted services from us. And what it was is like website design, ads, funnel building, all these other different things, but it was always on the left-hand side menu. And whenever they were ready, they would click on it and they would go to a calendar. You can do stuff like this with this custom menu link. So all you got to do is hit here. And if I have a particular custom link that I want, I would go ahead and build it in here. Now, it doesn't have any because we don't have it necessarily in there, but you would build it. I don't know why this won't let me create, but I probably have to do something first. We probably have to create the plan first and then come back. But you can come back and create this at any given time. You can also create it in another part of the CRM where I'm going to show you where you can do that. So really, really cool to just do that and like make it super personalized. You can even have onboarding videos that are a link in there. I mean, you can really go all out in doing any of this. But attaching a snapshot is really, really critical because you then can, load the snapshot into everybody's account when they first come on, which makes it super easy. And it takes the headache away of you having to do that and just moving forward. All right. So I added all the features. I'm going to hit next. Now the add-on, this is important. So if you guys are multitasking, please make sure that you guys get this. If you hit any one of these, your sub accounts are not going to be billed. You're going to be billed. Because what this is the giving sub accounts, basically when they subscribe to the plan you're creating, if you include any of these, this will be part of the plan. So if you're charging $97, and let's say you click the AI employee, that's an additional charge you get charged for AI employee. You wouldn't want to do that because then you make zero money because $97 is what you're charging them. And if HighLevel charges you $97 for the AI employee add-on, you are now losing $97 a month. So in here, this is what HighLevel charges you for these services. And in turn, you would then go back and change your price. So for instance, if I wanted to offer my AI employee, which I am in the next one, I would charge $247, pay for the AI employee through this setup. And like that, the client's paying me $247, but they get AI agent included with them. Some people don't want to manage ads. If you don't want to manage ads, but you want the ability for your people to manage ads in here, you're going to hit Ad Manager. And some people want to offer WordPress or give them a WordPress site. It's $10 a month to you. But again, if you click on any of this while you're building your plans, you're going to get charged this, not the client. So at the basic $97 plan, they're not getting any of this. This will be there available for them to buy. But I'm going to adjust these prices to then go in when they buy it, that I make a little bit of a profit on top of what HighLevel's charging. All right. So for this basic plan, we're going to hit next and we're going to keep moving on. Now, marketplace apps are applications that people have designed in a marketplace that are going to be for your particular, basically HighLevel. So I'll give you an idea. Like we use Thinker. Thinker is a great voice AI system that's a bit more advanced than HighLevel. We use it on occasion for really big clients. We would install their application directly in here because most of our clients will either explore it, get it, and so forth and so on. If you, let's say, are partners with somebody that already created a marketplace app and you want to leverage inside your tool, you would do it in here and you would add it as part of the setup. So then every client that comes in has the option of seeing the marketplace app. Again, we don't have any at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then in here, activating trial periods for your clients. Now, I personally don't do any trials, and I also don't do credits on signups. Activate trial periods just means that people can sign up for your CRM for whatever the trial period is for free. And then after the trial, they get charged. The only time I would tell you to use a trial is if you believe that your onboarding process is significantly good. Because if your onboarding is good and you have really good client retention, having a trial period won't hurt you, will help you because people can see how awesome you are, right? But if you're just starting out, a trial period is going to get you a lot of turnover if you don't have a lot of touch points with your clients. Add-on credit, which is add credit on sign-on monthly. Basically what this is credits for people to do email and text messaging. We do not do this, but let's say I wanted to add $10 of a credit to all my clients, or a one-time credit. That would happen if I wanted to do like a one-time credit. So my clients could get $10 to do email and text message. I'll be charged this $10 if they use it, but they get $10 for free. Now, again, some will argue that the $97 in their first months, you only make $87. I personally don't give them any credits. They paid for this themselves. So I turned this off. But if you wanted to give a little bit, you can totally do that. And it makes it easy, right? Now, the next one is super important because this is where you make a little bit of a profit based on the usage that people are having. So HighLevel charges for email, text. Well, you'll see a whole bunch of them as we go through. I usually, when I'm building on my white label, do a 1.5 just so then it covers the charges to my employees and so forth. I know it's not a lot, but that's what I leave it to. And the second you put it to 1.5, you'll see the rates down below, right? And it's one by one. So you got to do these one by one. Don't hit finish. Go to the next one, which is email. And honestly, I do the same. What's really cool about it is if customers want to know how many emails each of these get or how many text messages they're able, this is where all the pricing is for that. So you'll have that readily available. Workflow features, again, everything's 1.5 for me, guys. I try not to cheat, but this is just, again, cover employee costs, running the software, HL Pro Tools. So I make a little bit of a profit, but not much. But you can go as high as you want. You just got to understand it's a pretty competitive market when it comes to white label, high level. So I try to keep it in the minimum. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and set up rebilling. There we go. Funnel AI. That's where it builds the funnels. Agent Studio. Boom. All set to go. Now I created my first plan. And my first plan basically build pricing page. This is pretty cool. It generates a link. And now you could do monthly and you can do yearly. And now people can buy directly on this link to get into your SaaS. So literally by buying that $497 plan, you see you now have your first plan, but I want to add a second one. Remember, this one, I didn't add any add-ons because my price was basic and I didn't want to lose money. On the second one though, I will add the AI employee. So let's build our second one out. This is going to be AI employee package or CRM. I'm just going to put the lead on here because I'm going to need all this stuff later. All right. You put a nice little description if you want, completely up to you. Click next. Category. If you wanted to add a category and put these all into, you can. You don't necessarily need to because you only have 2 plans. Oh, I have to select the category. Okay. So you know what? We're just going to do default. Hit next. This is going to be $297. Okay. Or $247, up to you. It doesn't really matter. 2970. Okay. User limitation none. We're going to turn all the features like before. Beautiful. Well, again, custom menu links and the CRM stuff and the snapshots. We're going to come back and do that. The add-ons, I will add a $97 AI employee because I'm charging $297 for the account. So the $97 will get absorbed, but they'll have unlimited usage of AI bots. And I will only make $200, but I think this is a great advantage for my customers to get this. So I have my AI package and I have my non-AI package for the people that are afraid of AI for whatever reason, right? So I'll include that one in there. And remember, HighLevel is going to charge me $97. I'm going to charge a customer $297. So the net profit I make is $200. So that's the way I would do it on that particular one for the AI. Next, I'm going to hit next. Trial and credits, like you kind of heard me already. I don't give trials and credits, but if you so feel compelled, you can. There is no wrong answer here. You're going to hit next. And rebilling, unfortunately, we have to do the same thing. So we're going to go 1.5. We're going to go 1.5 across. We should have a bulk. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and select the next one. All right. Come in, select the next one. Come in, select the next one. All right. And again, I just like doing this because, well, no, I don't like doing this because this is overly boring and like repetitive, but This is what happens on a solo build, man. All right. And now I'll have 2 plans in the SaaS configurator. You could do 3, you could do 10. It doesn't matter how many plans you have, but this is why getting the $497 plan is critical, because if you do this, then you'll have the advantage there. So perfect. So now I have this particular thing. We're ready to rock and roll. And now notice I have 2: basic CRM plan, AM CRM plan, and I purposely have it here. Now, I literally, at this point in time, I have links that I can give them. I can copy the sales link, and if I give them this direct sales link, they'll be able to buy directly. So literally right here, I'm already good to go. I already have a white label version. I can already start selling the white label. I don't have to be extra fancy. We are going to become extra fancy because there's a lot of secrets and tips and tricks I'm trying to share with you all to make this easy. But if you wanted to go out there and sell this right now, this is all you need. Get somebody on the phone, send them an email. Hey, I have this crazy white label. I think it's going to be great. I can offer you, founders discount pricing. I can do $97 for the basic plan, $297. It's normally $197 for the basic plan and $497 for the AI agent plan. Which would you like? Do you want to try it out? And then boom, I just send them a link and they're in my CRM. It will automatically create the account for the customer. And again, this is why the $497 is sometimes worth the hassle, because then I don't have to create anything. So I'm hoping that makes a little bit of sense. Now, what's great about HighLevel is you can come in here and you can go into prospecting. And if I wanted to look, like I get up 5 prospects within the area. So I can add a prospect of like people that I'm doing, or I can basically get an AI agent that prospects, will do all this, report builder. If I go to add a prospect, if I say, we'll do, what kind of niche? We'll do HVAC near me. And I'm just picking that, guys, no reason why. And I'll do Princeton, New Jersey. All right. And we'll do 3.1 mile radius. Let's do, because I don't mind walking. Let's do 10 kilometers. Hit search. HighLevel will actually find me leads. And later on today, I'm going to have Dakota from White Label Suite come in, and he's going to show you the software that I've been using for years to help me find leads, just in case you didn't want to do this. So look, here's the conversion rate. It tells you how good you can get like somebody and what services you can offer. I can come in here and basically come in here and say, oh, look, Bradley Heating and AC does not look like it has a lot of reviews while all the other competitors do. And it doesn't have a WordPress site. It doesn't look like it doesn't have a site. So I have the possibility of selling him a website and selling him review management, or just trying to get him more reviews. You see what I'm saying? So it gives you the chances of like what you're going to close. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot in here to mess around with, guys. And you can even see the map, and you can add the prospect. I believe you can add until 5. But if you're looking for customers right off the bat, again, you don't even have to have an account. You could just go ahead and just say, hey, visit the thing. I can build your website. I can collect reviews for you. And I have an AI that answers phones 24/7. And I have 2 different packages, the 97 without AI, the 297 with AI. Which one would you like? And you could kind of like basically go in there. Now, I have a whole bunch of sales scripts that I'm going to share with you guys in about a minute, or a couple of minutes, I should say, that are going to be completely free. We were selling them at 97. You guys are going to get them today. Whoever's live on the call for free. So make sure to be getting ready, guys, because it's coming. All right. So I have this all. I'm ready to rock and roll. And notice that I only have 1 sub account. But look, what do we have here? We have snapshots. Now, again, snapshots are templated that are going to be able for people to basically have templates that are readily available that are going to work really well. A lot of you struggled with this, right? Because when you get a snapshot from somebody, you have to put the link. And then once you put the link, it will automatically download. Now, for anybody that was interested in buying the snapshots that I offer that are kind of like AI snapshots that are going to be for your agency, and they're literally going to be the ones that I'm going to use to set up, you could still get those snapshots now if you click on that link. And they are at a discount. They usually sell one for $497, the other one for $297. During my little build-a-thon, I'm going to keep it at $97. Again, just give the people that head start. But those are the templates I'm going to use to create my agency. And those are the templates I'm going to use to create my sub account that I'm going to be offering for clients. So anybody that's interested in those snapshots and get a chance to purchase them, this is going to be your first one, right? But a lot of people, you could create your own, you can download your own. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to download the 2 that I'm going to be leveraging, one for my agency, and then later on, which is probably going to be around tomorrow, we're going to do the one that we're going to be using for the sub account. All right, back to snapshots. Now we have our 2 snapshots. Now you have them because they'll say import. Okay, that's how you know you have them. They're going to be on your imported, and there you go. Now you guys are ready to go rock and roll. Now, in order for me to install them in my sub account, I can't show you the code because it uses that. But all I did was take the URL, put it in here, hit enter, and it asks you to import. The only thing when you guys are downloading snapshots, you have to log into app.gohighlevel.com in order from what you're having. So in here, these are the two that I have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install the AI SaaS agency account into my agency. So I'm going to come over here and I click on sub accounts. Then I click on my name. And when I click on my name, I'm going to go to the top left-hand side, load snapshot, choose my AI SaaS agency snapshot, hit proceed, select all because I have nothing in there now. It's a blank account. All right. It check for conflicts. I'm going to select all again, proceed, type in confirm. Okay. Hit proceed again. And now I'll have my template loaded into my sub account that I'm going to be building my agency out of. All right. So I'm going to come back out of here. Now, a couple of other things that I want to go over before we go into the sub account. One is, okay, this is where your snapshots are going to be. This is also later on where I'm going to show you how to create a snapshot and how I do it. And then here's the reselling. This is going to be all those extra services that we talked about, like reselling AI employee. Normally, they recommend that you charge $127. HighLevel charges you $97. You charge $127. And we'll go over all of this. Then you have, if you're reselling the prospecting, but you got to turn it on first. This is the prospecting that we just showed. You can give that to your normal clients. Reselling WhatsApp, HighLevel charges you 10. It's recommended that you charge 29. I usually move 15 to that. IP rebilling, this is going to be for when you're selling dedicated domains for email. And then there's a whole bunch like out here of things you can sell on your particular account. Now, SEO is highly recommended if you want to resell SEO. They charge you 79, you charge your customer 97. These are all things you sell on top of your white label. So if I sold an account for 97 and somebody wants AI employee, they would pay me 127. HighLevel charges me 97. The difference is my profit. If a person buys my basic plan and they want to buy SEO from Search Atlas, I would give them to it at 97. HighLevel charges me 79. I get 10. So that's where it is. If you purchase a snapshot, guys, the snapshots came in an email. It should have been an email. All right. So I would turn on whatever reselling I want to do for my clients. And then I would have here, if you are on the 97, this doesn't apply to you. If you're on the 297, this does apply to you. If you're on the 497, this reselling part applies to you. So just understand where it is so you can have it. Add-ons were all the different things that you can get directly from HighLevel. Priority support, basic account setup, advanced account setup. This is going to be only shown to the agency owner. So just be aware that this is here. Affiliate portal, if you decide to become an affiliate at HighLevel, it's here. Template library. This is where you have all the library templates for everything that HighLevel's ever created. What's really, really cool about this is you can create your own templates and load them into the template library to give to all of your clients inside of your white label. Or you can even sell them on the marketplace if you want to sell it to all of HighLevel, anybody that has HighLevel, right? Now, we created a sub account where we already created ours. It's automatically created, so we're not going to touch anything now. But notice I have everything set up. Now it's saying lead generation. Hey, let's get you some leads. We went into prospecting as we did that. And if you go on the left-hand side, there's also help in here, which is the university. GoHighLevel has a free university that actually teaches you how to use HighLevel. Now, I'll let you guys know that I also have a Udemy course. One of the highest selling Udemy courses, I think up to 5,000 customers at this point. It's $20. Go there, get educated. If you're in my Skool community, bunch of courses in there on this also, so you have it. SaaS education, again, awesome. Been to a lot of like the different events that HighLevel has. And again, if you want to get HighLevel swag, by all means, I have tons of it. I highly recommend it. And then we have GHL, swag, ideas. And then more importantly, I wanted to show you the custom links area. If you want to add custom links like you see here on the left-hand side to different applications that you have or different videos or support, you will have that. Now, let's just kind of review everything that we did. So a couple things. We did our full install of our Google Workspace. We did our full install of our agency part of the sub account. We did our snapshot install where we put it into our system and then we put it into our account. We looked at logos. We did a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, I wanted to bring on a very special guest, my friend Dakota, because the biggest problem you guys are going to have when it comes to doing anything is selling and finding prospects and leads. Welcome, Dakota. I don't know if you've been watching, but basically we've been building a whole bunch of stuff out and we're literally showing people live. And we're getting to the part where things are, people are now about to start up their agency, but I always find that the biggest problem that people have is that they cannot find leads, they can't sell, and that's the biggest problem that they have. And I know for a fact that not only are you an expert in getting clients, but you also have a software that helps them get them on there. And also, guys, the free giveaway is coming up because I'm going to give you the scripts that are also going to help you with this. So this is something we have. I think it's been relabeled, but it is Axe Up. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the company and what it does and what the software does?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. We acquired what used to be Axe Up almost 2 months ago now. And actually, just a couple of days, it'll be solid 60 days. We've rebranded it to HighLevel Suite. Originally, if you know the history of it, it was originally called HighLevel Suite. The old owners rebranded it to Axe Up. We preferred the HighLevel Suite brand, so we rebranded it back to HighLevel Suite because we felt like it matched what people were trying to do, and that was to be able to, number one, search for leads, but also to be able to white label it as your own software and integrate it directly into HighLevel.
Yeah, and basically, but what does it do? Like, why would people want to get it?
Ooh, that's a very good question, actually. So HighLevel Suite has the ability to do up to 9 different searches. I'll happily show them to you if you'd like. Currently, you can search for people. You can do people search, so you can put in a specific type of search. Let's say you are catering to plumbers, and you want to find every single plumber in and around Seattle. You can put in Seattle plumber, and you can even dial down and filter it to show you how much revenue. Filter by revenue, filter it by title. You can filter it by how many employees they have, and we have a multitude of different filters that allow you to kind of break down that search. You can also search by company. Let's say you want to find out who the CEO of a specific company is and get their email address and phone number. You can put in the company name. You can put in the domain name. It'll tell you every email that's associated with that company. If they have 50 employees, it'll go find all 50 employees' email and phone number for you. So you can reach out to a specific person if you'd like. Some of my favorites, though, we just released is website visitor ID. So what would happen is let's say you have a funnel or website and you want to know the name, phone number, and email of every single person that's visiting that before they even opt in. Right. So maybe you're running ads, maybe you have a webinar and somebody goes to the funnel and they don't opt in for your lead magnet or for your product or service. It will literally grab their name, their phone number, and their email, and then pull it into your HighLevel Suite account and then transfer it over to your HighLevel account, and your HighLevel will take over the marketing from there. Another feature that is scheduled to come out next week is called keyword intent. If you guys have ever gone to Google and searched for something, I don't know, like red Ferrari. I'm looking for a red Ferrari. And then wonder why you start getting Ferrari ads on Facebook. That's called keyword intent search. So what we do is we capture the name, phone number, and email of those people that are searching for those specific keywords. So again, let's say you're catering to plumbers. You have a plumber client. That client wants to start marketing to everybody who's searching for a leaky faucet. You can put in those keywords, leaky faucet in Seattle, go back as far as 30 days if you want. You can pull leads as soon as that come in today. You can go back 30 days and it'll tell you the name, phone number, and email of those people that are searching for those specific keywords. We also have a very big AI component built into it that enriches the data. So essentially what you can do is simply say, hey, I want to know anything and everything about this person. Let's say you're searching for a business and you want to know anything and everything about that business or the CEO of that business. It'll tell you, they've been in the news. It'll give you their social media links. It'll tell you if there's anything going on at that company, anything and everything you can find. And then, of course, it pulls that information into your HighLevel as well. One thing I'm most excited about, we're about 2 weeks from launching it, is property data and mortgage data. So essentially, we have over 500 data points that we'll be able to pull. Everything from what interest rate does somebody have? So let's say you're a mortgage officer and you want to start marketing your services and see if you can find people to refinance. You can pull a list of everybody in your city that has a mortgage rate of above 7%, 8%, 9%, and then reach out to them and start marketing to them. You can even run Facebook ads to them because you can put that list into Facebook and start marketing to them directly. You want to see tired landlords. You want to see homes that are likely to go on the market in the near future. So you're a real estate agent and you want to start knocking on doors or calling people. We have a new system that will actually rank how likely that home is to hit the market in the next 6 months.
So it gives you customer data with the contact information based on searching for them. And you just kind of heard now it's going to have more mortgage rates, what they're paying, and so forth and so on. So a lot. Now, I can tell you from inception that I've been using HighLevel Suites. I use the original version. I've been a client for like 4 something odd years to prospect clients like we did in that prospecting tool. It's pretty amazing. I think it works everywhere, right? There's no country, because I think people were using it in Australia all the way to the UK. I don't think there's a particular country limitation on it, right?
You're correct. Although I do want to disclose that the property data that is scheduled to come out in 2 weeks will be for the US only.
Got it. And is there any way we could get like a little bit of a demo inside Dakota, just to kind of see what it's all about?
Absolutely.
So we can see this thing in motion?
Absolutely. And if you'll permit me, I also have something to give away to everybody if they would like.
Oh, people love freebies on there. So absolutely.
Let me share my screen here. So right now we're inside of a live account, so you guys can kind of see how it works. I also have our sandbox pulled up so you can get a kind of an idea of what the new searches will look like. But when you first log in, it'll look just like this. You'll see your wallet up here in the left, in the top left, and click on your wallet and either add more funds to your wallet or set it up on auto top off, whatever you choose. Now, one thing that's super important to understand is that this system is designed to not only pull leads, but it's also designed for you to white label it. So we tried to mirror it as close to what people are familiar inside of HighLevel as possible. So if you come over here to admin, you'll see sub accounts. So you can actually see your sub accounts in there. You can mark up the leads based on the lead type. You can mark up the leads based on the sub account. If you have one sub account that's in the insurance space, and you know they're used to paying a higher dollar amount for leads, you can mark their leads up more than somebody else's if you wanted to.
Any way you can make the screen just zoom in a little bit bigger, because people are like loving it, but they want to see it a little bit?
All right, so you can mark up leads based on the sub account. You can also mark up leads based on the lead type. So you can choose to mark it up using a slider and say, I want to mark it up 5 times. You could even go in and say, I want these specific leads to be an exact dollar amount, $5.10, whatever you choose. And then what you'll notice is that, so we're inside of a live account. So here are the searches that are live at the moment. And then you'll see here's people search, right? So the first thing you do when you come into people searches, you're going to create a list. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll create a list. You're going to call it, let's say, plumbers. Actually, we'll call this one plumbers in Seattle. It's going to automatically assign it to the people search and that kind of thing. So you're going to hit create. And then now you have your list. You'll see your list right here. Okay? And then you can come in and hit start new search. From here, I can put in the description. I want to do plumbers. Actually, just take the S off. And let's just say in Seattle. I gotta learn to spell. Okay, so it's gonna choose Seattle. I can come over here and set a limit. Let's say I have a budget. Maybe I'll pull this and it's gonna bring back 2,000 plumbers. And I don't want to spend that much money. I can come over here and set my limit. Let's set it to 20. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit continue. And it's gonna find me 20 at a time. Now, when it finds them, I'm not being charged at the moment. Okay, so you'll see that there's no contact information. It's giving you a preview of it. I could come in and say, well, I don't want this guy because he hasn't even updated his profile picture. So I want to pull these specific plumbers. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them in. Okay. And then, hold on. I just did the wrong thing there. Let's do that again. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So hit continue. Okay. And then I select my leads like so. Okay. And then I'm going to add them to list. Okay. It's going to give me a cost. Okay. It's going to how much it's going to cost me. Okay, now this cost is going to be representative of what you have it marked up as. Okay, so if I'm inside of a sub account doing this and I currently have it marked up 100%, then that sub account is going to pay $1.44. That money goes to you as the agency owner. Okay, and so then you hit confirm, and now it's going to pull 4 of them into my list. And then I'm going to go list, and I'm going to see them here. Okay, now you'll notice that they don't have phone numbers or any of that kind of stuff just yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tell it to go get phone numbers. So you can select them, okay, and you can do a bunch of different stuff. I can set a label here, label being like, I want to put this in the plumber label. I can generate information about the specific business. I can send it right to my CRM. I can download it as a CSV, or I can just tell it to go get all the phone numbers for me, okay, which is going to cost me 12 cents. Okay, so now it's going to go find all the phone numbers. And it's going to take time. So there you go. There's one. Okay? This phone number is unavailable. So when the phone number is not available, email address is unavailable, you're not charged for that specific lead. Okay? You'll see it didn't find a phone number there, and it did find a phone number there. So it found 2 phone numbers, essentially, out of the 4 that we put in. Okay? From here, I can do a variety of things. I can tell it to find similar people if I wanted to. I could actually generate direct message to Jacob. It will give me information about Jacob's business and things of that nature. Okay, I can draft a subject line for an email. I can do an intro. Okay, I can custom generate an AI prompt here. Okay, and then I can also generate a library of information about Jacob as well. Okay, then let's say, okay, this is cool. I like this. I don't want to do this on autopilot anymore. I can come in here to AI assistant. What you're going to see, AI agent is what you're going to see, not AI assistant. And you'll see that I've already built a couple of AI agents in this account, right? So this one is grabbing visitors from a specific CRM and then sending, or a specific website and sending it to the CRM. So let's say I want to export everybody. So people, let's go plumbers plumbers to HighLevel. Okay, auto save changes, and it's going to bring up a little canvas where I can actually start to do this on autopilot. Okay, so you'll notice I can drag in people search at this point. Okay, let's do that again. Drag in people search. I can grab my list. Okay, there's my list. Okay, I want to add a tag every time that goes to the CRM. So I'm going to put plumbers _ Seattle. Okay, source is going to be HighLevel Suite. Okay, and then I'm going to do this on autopilot. So see how it says autopilot? Okay, I'm going to hit save. Okay, I'm going to give it a description. These are plumbers in Seattle. Okay, and then I'm going to put in my search again, okay, and I'm going to give it a max. Okay, let's set the max at 20. So now every day on autopilot, it's going to go find 20 plumbers in Seattle, okay, and I want to do something with it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to add a label. Let's go down here and go, where's my labels? Add label. Okay, drag my label in here. Okay, I'm going to pick a label. So we're going to create new. We'll put exported to HighLevel. Okay, so now there's my label, but I also wanted to send it to the CRM. So send to app. Okay, I'm going to choose my CRM. I'm using a white label version of HighLevel. That's what that is there. Okay, and then now what's going to happen is every day it's going to go find 20 plumbers in Seattle. It's going to add a label to it so I can easily find them later, and it's going to send it over to my CRM. Okay, and then it's going to do this on autopilot every single day. Okay. And you can use the AI agent to do the same thing for visitor ID. In fact, let me show you how that one works. Where's my visitor ID here? Send sites to visitor ID. Okay, so when a lead is found from visiting that specific website, it adds a label to it, and then you can see sent to CRM. Okay. You can also add if else, like, can have it do certain things. If this lead has a phone number, do this. If this lead has an email, do that. If this lead has both, then do something different. Let's say you don't want it to come into your CRM if it doesn't have a phone number. You can say delete the lead or mark it as dead or whatever you decide you want to do. It'll do all of that on autopilot. And then if we go back to our searches, you can do something similar for local search. You're going to find companies. Okay, so this worked really well for a restaurant that was about to open or was grand opening, right? So what they did is they ran a 3-mile radius around the specific address of the restaurant and found every business within a 3-mile radius, and then started emailing all of those businesses and inviting them in for a free appetizer or something of that nature, or for the grand opening, that kind of thing. If I have a specific company that I want to find the CEO, I want to find the marketing director, I want to find the person who's in charge of their technology, I can do a company search. Okay. Domain search. Let's say I know the name of the domain and I want to do, it's similar to company, but I'm using an actual domain instead. Okay. Influencer search is really fun if you're doing any type of influencer marketing. So you can come in here and you can do an influencer search. And let's say I want to search for coaches. I think I spelled coaches wrong. And then hit create. Okay. I can come in here and start a new search, and I can search by hashtag. So let's just say I want to search coach. Okay. And description. These are coaches on social. Okay. I can target specific people who have a specific amount of followers. I can target them by age. I can target them by the number of reels that have been played. Engagements, how many engagements they have. Their engagement rating. Do they have a high engagement rating? I can target them. If they speak a specific language, you can see all of the things that you can target. Male, female, all that kind of stuff. Okay. For right now, I'm going to leave it very vague. I'm just going to search for coaches. Okay. And then I'm going to do it on Instagram, as you can see. So you have Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can come down here and choose your audience. Okay. If you want to search for people who have specific usernames, specific locations, and I'm going to hit continue. But essentially what it would do is it would pull up all the influencers for that specific hashtag. And then you'd be able to go through and see how many followers they have, all that kind of jazz. And then if we come back over here to website visitor ID, this one's very plain and simple. You give it a name, you give it a URL, and then you hit continue. Here, let's give you an idea. So let's call this one, we'll call this one test. Let's use, now it's not, just so we're aware, it's not going to actually pull every visitor from HighLevel, but you have to give it a website so that it knows what website it's going to be attached to. Okay, so I'm just giving it one for right now. When they come in, you'll get a script that looks like this. You copy that script, you put it in the header of your funnel and your website, and then it will start to pull in all of the people that visit it. So it'll look something like this one. Okay, so you can see here's one right now. If we change this to all, it'll show you the name and phone number of everybody who visited that site, when they visited the site, and you can go through, and if you don't know the phone number, you can actually enrich this and ask it to try to find it. Okay. You'll also soon have the ability to do what's called skip tracing. If you're not familiar with skip tracing, it basically goes and locates every possible phone number for that specific person. Okay? And this gives you an idea of essentially who's visiting. So you can compare this to the people that filled out your form and see how many people filled out your form versus how many people visited the site. I could download this list, put it into Facebook, and start retargeting them through Facebook ads if I wanted to, and so forth. And then if we switch over to our Sandbox account, okay, so here's keyword intent. Now this is not live, but you'll get an idea. So you give it a name, you tell it how many you want, because some keywords are going to bring back 300,000 people, right? So don't want to spend 300,000 leads. That'll be really expensive. So you tell it essentially how many leads you want for that. Now, if you leave it blank, it's going to pull every one of them. Okay. And that's going to get very expensive. So just make sure that you pick whatever amount of leads that you want for that specific day. Okay. Then you choose your keywords here. They're giving some examples: solar panel installation, solar energy. Okay. Date range. You can go back 30 days. You can limit it to only people in the last 2 days. If you want newer leads, things of that nature. You can even search by geographic location, okay, and pull up people who are in that specific geographic location that are searching for those specific keywords. And then one thing you don't see on here is property data and mortgage data, but that will be live in about 2 weeks.
Awesome. And then again, the free gift is coming in a few minutes as far as mine. I know, Dakota, you mentioned a little bit of an offer form. What do we got?
I got a free account for you. It's going to give you don't need a credit card. There's no time limit. If you takes you 2 months to use your $12 and it takes you 2 months, but you're going to go to whitelabelsuite.com/free. You don't even need a credit card to get this. It'll give you an account. It'll load $12 into your wallet and you can play around with it from there.
Very, very cool. And for everybody else, this is again where you guys get the phone. These are limited. So again, not this. So Dakota is claiming your free account. Make sure you guys get there. We're going to post that link in about 1 second here. I'm going to get it for you guys over here. Throw it on there and the QR code so you guys have it. If you guys just scan it, it's giving you free credits right now for you to use it. And then I'm going to give one of my giveaways in the next like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We just want to make sure. So you get 12 credits to use this. So I put the link in there for anybody that's on their phone. Cool. So that's it, guys. We'll keep it in there. Dakota, it is Saturday. I know you're a big family man. So thank you for coming on. Guys, great gift. You guys get free credits. So you'll be able to take advantage of this. So again, Dakota, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Root me on, wish me luck. So there's no more issues here. Now we have a way to get free credits to look up your first free prospects, right? But a lot of you guys are still going to have challenges selling. So we are now going to have our next free gift. This is going to be our Build-a-thon. It's a sales script package. It's basically a client scripts that we use to generate client leads. This is how we internally train a lot of our staff. Again, make sure you're using that coupon code. There shouldn't be a limit on that coupon code, so you guys should all be able to get it. Again, it will run out though in the next day. It will only be live for Saturday and Sunday, so make sure you're scanning this one. Give me some feedback on there. So basically what this is it's going to be a pack of scripts. It's going to take you into a members area. The members area is going to have a bunch of scripts for you guys. Inside the scripts, it's really, really important that these are the actual scripts that I've used myself, that we use to train individuals. There's a ton of them. There's going to be help for emails. There's going to be help for you doing whatever you need to do in there. But the main point is like we have our accounts pretty ready, right? We're now going to build out our agency account. But if you connected your Stripe, you should have a link. And then right then and there, you're able to go out and sell this thing like crazy, right? But what happens is you get a person on the phone, like, what do you say? How do you sell? And doing all of that. So what I want you to do is I want you to scan this, put in the coupon code. We normally sell this for $97. You guys are going to get it free during the Build-a-thon. Grab it, study it, use it as, like the way I used to do it is I used to have these scripts in front of me while I was making calls. And then I started picking and choosing the ones that I want, and they worked out pretty well. This is literally the same kind of things that I wanted to do in order to have this going. So for anybody struggling with sales, you don't know what to say, this right here, this coupon code, and we put the link in again throughout all of social media. Make sure you guys get it. Make sure you put on the coupon code right in there. But this is going to help you sell when you don't know how to do something. But again, free. Normally we charge for this. Grab that packet. But I'm telling you, that is incredibly important because a lot of you guys are going to struggle in sales. And that's what I want to make sure you guys can do, right? So not struggle in sales, have help in the things that you say, how you say it. And those skips are honestly not exaggerating. Those are the ones that I literally used for God knows how long while I was getting clients for pretty much everything. And that's it. Yeah, it's going to ask for a credit card, but you're not paying anything. It's completely comped. But use those scripts to help you sell because it's great that we're going to be building this agency. We're going to be building all this stuff. But if you can't sell, then it won't work. But other than that, Hope it works, guys. And then we'll go in there. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the left-hand side. And now that I uploaded my snapshot, I configured everything in my agency account, I'm now going to go into my sub account where I'm actually going to be doing all the work. Basically, we are going to start building our agency so we can start taking clients and more importantly, payments. Because if now I can sell to my clients have a place to go, I now have the ability of selling to them and then doing it that way. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side. I'm going to go to the only account, which is my agency account. And inside my agency account, when I get in there, it's going to automatically try to take me to the dashboard or whatever else it has. Now, HighLevel in general, and by the way, this is what I meant by the preloaded like information. Since I had that on, it preloaded all this fake information in for me, but it does make it look like everything is working well. Now, I'm not going to do a general overview of HighLevel altogether. I'm going to kind of demonstrate the features while we're building things out because I want to build the most important things for me so I can make the money right away and I'm not waiting for anything else. So remember what I said. If I wanted to start and I had to start from scratch, the only really thing I need is my calendar, a site that people can go on that can learn about whatever it is that I'm selling, a solid offer, and then basically I just got to start doing outreach. And not only did Dakota show you a way how to do it with a different software, white label, and you get 12 credits that you guys can use to get like your first couple clients. And then on top of it, you are also going to, have the other part of that, which is you have the prospecting tool that HighLevel provides and it gives you 5 free credits. So altogether, that gives you quite a bit of prospects to go out there and actually try to hunt for some business. So the first thing I want to do more so than anything else is like set up my calendar directly in here. Now, if you have a HighLevel account and you bought whether the $97 plan, the $297 or the $497, and now you're acting in an agency account, you have to go in and you have to add yourself to the account because you're already added at the agency level. So we're going to go back one time. We're going to switch to the agency view. I'm going to go to my team under settings, go to team, and I'm going to add myself to the account. So I go to roles and permissions, and in roles and permissions, it says add sub account, and I'm going to select Nuno's agency. The reason I do that is because I need access to my calendars in order to start booking things on my actual calendars. I can also create new team members for anybody that's going to be on there. So on the left-hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to first thing that I do in my sub account. This is always the same. I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to team. And inside here, I have Mary in here. I'm going to add my other account, which is my agency account, Nuno Tavares, Nuno Agency. Okay. And I'm just going to put a fake phone number in here for now. All right. I'm going to hit next. All right. Now that I'm in here, I am going to give myself basically, it's going to be another agency admin, but it's going to be under that Nuno Agency. And I'm going to do that again one more time. I'm going to hit save. This is going to be pretty important because I'm going to be able to come in here using this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my brand new email account. So if I go to my Gmail, I should have an email from HighLevel saying, hey, you've just been added. So I'm going to come over here, Nuno Agency. Oh, here's my CRM. And now I have to activate. Okay. So click here to log in. It's going to ask me to set up a passcode. Okay. Awesome. Continue to log in. And I want to log in with this one because this is going to be the one that I'm going to be doing all the setup in. So if you, let's say, open your account and you don't want to, you want to use your professional email address because maybe you open up with your Gmail, no matter what, you have to add the individual to that actual account. When you do that, you're going to come in here and you're going to do this area in here. And once you do this, we're going to go ahead and set a security code. Awesome. Grab that security code, copy it back, drop it in here, and now I'm good to go. Okay. Now, if I come directly into the sub account, notice if I go to I have to go back into the agency. So I'm coming back in. All right. I'm going to get rid of all the other sign-ins to make this less confusing. Okay. And now if I come in directly to the Launchpad, it literally gives me the things that I should do to start my account. So import and engage with the contacts consistently, generate new leads, set up multi-channel communication, launch your first campaign. Now, I'm going to go ahead and change this, and I'm going to go over to the left-hand side, and I'm going to do it based on myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings. Inside of settings, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come on the left-hand side, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to start building this out to what I need it to be. All right. Business email. We're going to change this right now. I'm going to start setting up. The first thing I do is go right into the business profile. So just for some of you, because I went a little quick, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to business profile. First of all, we're going to misspell the misspelling. So Nuno Agency. Okay. Legal business name is going to be what's on my CP 575. So I'm going to put that in already. My email is going to be nuno@nuno nunoagency.com. Okay. And then here, we're going to just add our business phone number, and we're just going to, okay, doesn't matter what we do, everything else. Set up my state, my zip code, everything that I got going on right there. Set up the website. Brand domain is going to be the domain that all my links are going to come out of. So since I'm in here, I'm going to set that up too. I'm going to go back into Cloudflare because it got shut down. So hold on. Okay. Come in here, go to Cloudflare, go to login, go to my account, go to my domains, and I'm just going to have my domain up. So we should have Nuno Agency. There it is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my branded domain. Now, a branded domain in here. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to come in here and put in a domain like link. Now, again, what a branded domain is every link that you're going to send to customers, like your calendar links, your payment links, and everything else, are going to have this branded domain in. So it looks a little bit more professional. So I'm going to go ahead and add this now. And I'm going to set this up because I'm going to be sending out calendar links and I'm going to be sending out payment links. So I want my brand being associated with it. So I'm going to go ahead, click on this, and I hit add domain. When I add domain, because I have Cloudflare just like before, it's going to automatically add a domain in here. All right, authorize domain, click authorize again. And now what I'm doing is I'm starting to customize this to make it as professional as possible. So then when I reach out to customers, they're going to see a little bit more of a professional standing in here. All right. Now, the branded domain, I definitely recommend you guys doing because, again, a lot of the links you're going to be sending out are all going to be really ugly, big links. And if they're not like branded, it just looks really weird and it looks unprofessional. Some people are going to get scared clicking on it. And then the business type, this all here is what you're going to need to be doing in order for you to set up your A2P. Now, I'm going to put false information in here, but I'm going to tell you how to get it because if you do this now, this is only going to help you later on get A2P verified, and I'll walk through that process too. So one, first and foremost, the business type. Let's just say this is an LLC. The industry is going to be marketing, which I believe is media. I just put it as media, or you can put in service, or just pick one that you feel most associated with. For instance, I'll put media for now because I think that's where I fall in. I'm going to have an EIN number, and I'm going to obviously make one up here, but we're just going to make a number up here. And then I'm only servicing US and Canada, so I'm going to leave that checked. Next is it's going to ask for an authorized representative. I'm going to go ahead and just fill that out with my information. All right, representative email, Nuno at Nuno Agency, right? Okay. Job position, call yourself whatever you want. It doesn't matter, CEO. And then again, your phone number, just in case somebody needs to get a hold of you in there. And then I hit update information, and I'm coming over here and I'm hitting update information. The reason we're doing this is, and this should all be the information that is on your CP575. And if you guys don't know what that is in the US anyway, CP575 looks like this white paper. This is what all of us get when we first apply for a tax ID number. This tax ID number is where all the information you need to start and get your business registered to send text messages. This is where a lot of it exists. It's got your name, it's got the address, it's got everything you need. But the most important thing is that the address and name of your business and your tax ID number need to match what you put in here. Okay, especially if you're planning on getting text messages in the line. If not, don't worry about it and you'll be ready to go, right? So that all being said, this is good. We want to move on. Now, you have one or two choices of like the way you want to speed this up. The first way that I like to do is I like to do the calendars right away because I want to connect my calendars so I can start taking appointments. Because honestly, if you could just start taking appointments, you're really rocking and rolling. So if I click on my profile, in my profile, I'm going to set all this up. Create a nice little signature, Nuno Tavares, right? Put in the enter, Nuno Agency. What an awful name. I should have spent a little more time on it. I'm going to put my phone number because I want people to get a hold of me, right? And you can make yours super fancy. I honestly, whatever works, right? As long as it looks pretty decently professional, then you get to go. Nuno Agency, okay, .com. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit update. I scroll all the way down and I go to calendars and I'm going to hit add new. Now I'm going to connect to my shiny new Nuno Agency calendar because that's my business calendar. All right. And you can work on that and hit continue. Hit continue again. Make sure you hit the checkbox in here. And now I have my calendar connected. Now, Google Calendar automatically comes with video conferencing, which is Google Meet. It will automatically connect it. If you don't want Google Meet connected, you have to hit the trash can. And if you want to hit Zoom, you would connect Zoom or Microsoft Teams. But again, you just paid for it. Google Meet's pretty darn good. Just go ahead and use it. Now, the next thing I'm going to do coming in here is I'm going to set my hours. 8 to 5 looks great. If I want to do some Saturday hours, I'm going to go ahead and create that. And I'm just going to, let's just do a shortened day. We'll do 9 to 12. Okay. come in here and we're going to hit update availability. And most importantly, this is a big mistake that everybody makes or doesn't do well. If you go back to your business profile, just always make sure you're in the right time zone for you. Because if you're not in the right time zone, that creates a bunch of problems that later on you don't want to deal with. So just make sure you're in the proper time zone in order for that to work. All right. So I'm back in my profile. I legit just created my agency. Like I connected my calendar. I'm good to go. I can at least now have my calendar connected, but I still don't have a calendar. Now, what I want to do is before I go creating a calendar, even though I connected my Google Calendar, I still need a way for my emails to be sent out of the system for reminders and other things that I'm going to need inside of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to email services and I'm going to connect my new email that is going to be my dedicated domain. So I'm going to hit add a dedicated domain. And in here, you can use, again, a subdomain. If you watched us previously, you want to use a subdomain. Some people use reply, some people use SC, some people use M. It really honestly doesn't matter. The only one you really should be using is either email or mail. Just because sometimes if you're using WordPress, WordPress already reserves those, and sometimes you can create a conflict, but that's literally the only two you can't use. I like using replies. Then I put nunoagency.com, hit add and verify. Now again, because HighLevel has my connection to Cloudflare, all I have to do is hit continue, and it will automatically add the records. Now remember, we did one for the agency. We have a server running for the agency. Now this one is going to be the one running for my business, my day-to-day business that I needed to run. So now it's asking me to add different codes, but notice that it's adding codes for replies because this is the new subdomain that I have directly inside of my sub account. So I have one for my agency that's sending out all the CRM messages, my welcome messages when somebody signs up for my white label. This one here is going to be directly for my agency. So I need to create a different subdomain in here in order for this to be sent out. All right, so here we are. We're going to refresh this because it automatically added it in Cloudflare. Remember, we're looking for all green to show up. Beautiful. All green has showed up. It even added my DMARC. I am ready to rock and roll. I can hit verify domain. But because I'm now in my agency, remember the other one we had, the three little dots, and I said you wouldn't want to set headers on that one, or we did, but it was a CRM one. Here, I'm going to set headers, and I'm going to put team, Nuno agency, or you could do your name. It's really up to you. It doesn't matter. And then remember, I created an alias first thing where I created one for Nuno agency. Like that, I know that anytime I see a response in my inbox with team at Nuno agency, that I know it's coming from the agency account. Again, this is part of the organization thing that I told you about that later on will serve you because then you'll have an idea where things are coming from and you can kind of coordinate and understand things. Now, another thing you can do is you can create one that's going to be for you sending your bulk emails and your just general emails that you're going to be sending to a mass audience. So make believe you had like a 10,000 person audience, right? And you're sending newsletters, you're communicating with them every month. And that's like your baby subdomain. That's the one you want to make sure is always clean, doesn't have anything bad. But what if you start sending things like appointment reminders or sales receipts or anything along that way? What I would do is I would add a secondary domain and we would just, again, we already use no replies. So we would put something like M or transactions or receipt or no reply again. But instead of, I think we use no reply. So we would use no replies on this one. So if I go to my DNS and I look at my records, let's see what we used. I think we used no reply. So this one will be no replies. And what I'm trying to do here is I want to segregate the mass email I send versus the transactional email I send. And the reason that is because I want to make sure that people that are getting transactional emails, like appointment reminders and all this other stuff, and things in workflows, that if I one day send to 10,000 people and they all unsubscribe, let's say 100 people unsubscribes and my email reputation tanks and it starts going to spam, then I will forever protect my transactional email, which is more important. So I'm going to put no replies .nunoagency.com. Now remember, the no reply we used at the agency level, the big account, right? Like the one that controls everything, we use no reply. And this is no replies with an S and an IES, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit add and verify. And I'm going to show you why we did this. Hit continue. And again, this is a little bit of a secret sauce to kind of help protect your email deliverability. especially when you're running like an agency. You'll see why in a second. So I'm going to hit authorize domain, hit authorize again. And just like before, we are looking for all greens. Oh, there we go. All green, verify domain. And for this one, it's going to be the same like email addresses that I'm using here. So I'm going to hit set headers. And I'm going to go to team, Nuno agency. And then I'm going to go back over here to team at Nuno agency. Now, if you really want the best email deliverability, whatever you used as a subdomain, you add it. And that just helps with the deliverability when you're first warming up. So a lot of people, you don't need to do this. But if you ask like me or Matt Ratliff, if I was warming up a domain, I'll go to set headers and I would just add the subdomain because it does help with deliverability, right? So now I have, helps if I spell that right. Bad spelling here will definitely hurt you. All right, hit save. And now here's a secret kind of sauce. I come in here, my calendar domain is going to be the no replies. My payments domain is going to be the no replies. My one-on-one conversation domain, replies. My bulk email, replies. My campaign, things that go into my regular campaigns and everything else, replies, because that's going to be the bulk one, right? My workflow domains, replies. My client portal, no replies. And then the default one is going to be replies. Now, what I did is basically set what emails come out of what things based on how they're going to go on to help kind of protect the domain deliverability. And you keep hearing with this word deliverability. Deliverability, all it is what are my chances of getting into the inbox? There's always, depending on the situation, it's very hard to get in people's inboxes nowadays. So you have to do everything in your power to get that early on, because if you do it wrong, then this is what happens. Like people just will get into spam. Like mine still goes in spam no matter what I do. But again, it depends which one it is. So we've done this to help alleviate some of that. And if you do it this way, you will have the absolute best start for your agency in the way that you do, right? So now that this is done, I've installed our domains in our calendars, but since I'm in the domain and I have Cloudflare up, let's get all the other domain stuff done. So then we don't have to worry about it. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm in the settings area on the left-hand side. I'm going to go to domains, URLs, and redirects. Now, the Nuno agency is already in here because it's already seeing 2 subdomains, but I still, if I come in here to manage, it has the link, which is the branded domain for every link going out. It has the replies.nuno agency, which is going to be for all the serious bulk emails that I'm going to be sending out. It has the no replies, which is going to be the one that I'm using for transactional, like receipts and appointment reminders and so forth. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit connect, and I'm going to do the funnel website and store builder, because this is where we're going to build our website. I want my main domain because I only use my main domain in here because I literally just bought this domain and this domain does not exist anywhere. Very important, and I don't understand why people miss this. If your domain already exists somewhere else, let's make believe it's in WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, or any of these. What you do in here is you can't bring your main domain in, because if you try to bring that main domain in, you are going to crash your other sites. So the way to do it, if you have an existing domain, you will come in here and you would do a subdomain like go or now or agency or whatever you would want. I just bought this one. It doesn't exist anywhere else. So I am safe to bring this full domain in here. But again, if you are the type of individual, like you have an existing business already, and you're just using this for funnels, for memberships, for whatever else, and the same goes for your clients, always ask, does your main domain exist anywhere? Wix, Squarespace, SiteGround. If I type in your domain, does it go somewhere? And if you do, that's what I usually do with clients. Clients won't know that answer. So if I type in nunoagency.com, it should go to like a weird launching soon page. This is GoDaddy's coming soon page. So I know if that's the case, then I'm free to use this domain. Always double check this. If you guys are going to be planning on doing the agency for a living, building websites, doing any of this for clients, creating your own white label, always do this spot check, because if you don't and you put the main domain in here, you will bring the site down wherever it is. And that's a massive pain in the ass to get back on. So here I don't, so I will do this. But if I did, I would use Go. Okay. So I'm going to use Nuno Agency. I'm going to hit continue, and automatically checks also add. I'm going to say yes, hit continue. And again, because Cloudflare is already auto connected, this is going to be like 1, 2, 3. Come in here and it's saying, okay, great. A lot of people get this error. AAA conflict records, please remove all AAA records. All that means is you see these 2 A records right here. GoDaddy and other records automatically add these. If you are a brand new account and you've never had anything posted anywhere, it automatically adds these 2 records. Namecheap does it. All of them do it. Literally, all you got to do is come in here, checkbox both of these, delete the 2 records. Okay. That's only for people that do not have pre-existing sites living somewhere on the web. All right. Now that I've deleted those, we're going to hit back. Let's try it one more time. Cool. And hit authorize. And somebody asked, I think, Sweet, you asked, can you set up more than one dedicated domain? You can. As long as those domains are not being used anywhere that they need to, you can put as many domains as you want in here. Again, you just got to be really careful. If they're existing somewhere and you pull it in here and it was already in a Wix site or a Squarespace site or some, I don't know, weird, something site, it will completely bring that site down. I mean, it'll bring it up here, but it will bring that site down. And sometimes there's other implications. So just always be careful. But I'll add the main domain like I am now, and I'll add also a subdomain. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the domain asks. So we get that right out of the way. So then we don't have to come back in here and do anything with the domains in here. All right, cool. Now, I don't have a funnel or a domain yet because we haven't built anything yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and proceed to finish. And we already have it in email. We already have a branded domain. But if I go to connect here, there's other things. Now, the client portal is going to be where my membership area is going to be. Now, a lot of you guys might not need a membership area, but let me tell you why I suggest you do that if you're going to be an agency, if you're running any kind of business or anything. There are 2 major things that are going to change in the next 2 to 3 years. First off, a lot of people are going to have shorter attention spans. News is kind of all over the place, left, right, middle ground. It doesn't matter. The news exaggerates lies. So people are mistrusting the news more and more daily. What people are not mistrusting is people that are starting to like, know, and trust through the different things that you do inside of communities and sharing your content and doing whatever else. So creating a membership or a community in the year of 2026 for any business, doesn't matter if you're a taxidermist, doesn't matter if you're a person like, a guy, literally, I'm not exaggerating, in my neighborhood, we built a site for him. He created a meat. He's a game hunter, like person that I guess like prepares all the meat for game hunters. He's got a small community. They trade hunting stories, where they're going to hunt next, specials that are going on. And it's something really, really smart for you guys to all do. So building a client portal that has a community and a membership will benefit any business, including yours. So I recommend at least getting the client portal set up really early on. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit connect. And in here, it already gives you a really ugly domain. I like to make a nice one. And I like to literally call it portal.agency.com. And what I would do is I would be sending everybody in here first as part of like a welcome. And maybe there's a little bit of a membership area that has courses for them or guides or SOPs or anything you want to add, but I would recommend doing it. So type in, when you click on that, it's going to bring you to this screen, portal.nunoagency.com, add domain. If it comes to portal.this, all you got to do is hit continue. And again, because I have Cloudflare set up, all it's going to do is it's going to automatically do that. So we're going to give it a couple minutes. All right, cool. Authorize. Again, you guys know the drill here by now. Come in here. And now I have my portal domain already done. All right, there we go. It's authorized domain. It says it already added because it did, because it's there. So we're good to go. All right, so now I have my portal. Now, make believe now, going to somebody's question, what happens if they already have an existing website? What do I do? How do I get the domain in here? Well, you're not going to get the domain in here. What you're going to do is go to settings, go to domains, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a subdomain. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit connect funnel websites, but this time make believe that this person had a domain already existing and they have a website already on it. I don't want to mess with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in go and I'll put nunoagency.com. And all you're going to do is create a subdomain. That's it. Hit continue. And now I have a spare domain that I can use in here for anything. And guys, you can create as many subdomains as you want. All you have to do is come in here, build a domain. And then again, because you have Cloudflare already connected, you obviously the connections are ridiculously easy. All right. So we're going to let this thing pass through. Authorize domain, hit authorize again. So think about what we've done so far. We have our emails. We've connected our calendar. We did our business profile already. We now connected all of our domains for email, domains for funnels and websites. We pretty much have everything that we need in order to really work, right? So because I downloaded my snapshot, right? I have pre-made websites already that I have little templates on. But I got to be honest, before even getting into the websites, and we're probably going to pause here because I want to make sure I get to some questions. we're going to start building the websites and everything else. And later on, we're going to do all that. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to start building the websites out, then going to our automations. And then again, I have pre-made automations that I'll walk you guys all through. We'll walk through slowly through this. But basically, these are all the automations that we're going to need to basically run our agency. And if we don't like the way the website is, we're going to take bits and pieces of the website and use something like AI Studio or the new AI funnel builder to help us build the funnel that we want, because that's how good these things have gotten lately to make it super easy.